Because I'm going to push the button.
Is that what they're referencing on Mystery Science Theater?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Push the button, Max. It is a great movie. If you have not seen it,
I haven't.
It's Peter Falk and Jack Lemmon, and it's really cool.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
You're live.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to
okay.
Crippled System episode. Insert number here.
209.
209.
Wait, is it 209?
You
Oh my
fucking
God.
oh my god.
Yeah. It's 209.
Hey, guess what?
What?
The text on the podcast is 208.
Okay, you should update
They're going to
that
see it live, changing to 209 if they're
Point
watching
it
the
right.
video cast.
now.
Did
I point at it?
You were late. I already
Right.
changed it.
There.
No, that's the E.
This is a real
and
look
that's
behind the
zero,
curtain.
and
There.
That's the 9.
Right here is where it says 209 now, and before
Yeah.
it said 208.
Yeah.
I cannot see that screen right now, so it's especially
Don't say
hilarious
Nazi.
just imagining.
Yeah, don't say Nazi. Come on, jeez.
Both sides are wrong.
You're going to get us to...
Oh boy.
We're going to get content
Many
strike
sides, man. Many
immediately.
sides.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's the people who are Nazis, and then there's the people who aren't fucking Nazis.
They're not like zombies, right?
Yeah, Nazi versus zombie.
Nazis. So sometimes they call them Z's.
Z's, yeah, and Z
So
Nation.
if a person that is alive
God.
would be a
they call
not Z.
So that's the bleak, like the world of Z Nation is everybody's either zombies or Nazis.
Correct.
They really call them
Deep,
Z's
man.
in Z Nation? Was zombies too much to save?
No, no. In order to have in this world of so many different zombie films and shows and that, you have to break yourself away from there. So The Walking Dead,
They don't call
Provide
them
some
zombies either.
They call them
differentiation for
walkers.
your zombie
Yeah.
stories.
The Fear the Walking Dead call them something else, and I don't know what because that show was
Sucks.
Sucks. It's terrible.
The first 2 seasons were pretty horrible.
How many seasons are there?
Third season is actually not too bad. I think
Okay.
that they're in the middle of the third season.
Okay.
Did you watch the first 2 or first season?
I watched
Walking Dead?
the pilot, turned it off, and then went to go do something else because it
Okay.
was awful.
Well, there's one character that's in the first season that's awesome, and they kill him like about the first quarter of the second season,
Yeah.
and then you're like, fuck, now this show really sucks.
Yeah.
And they brought him back.
As a zombie or
Nope.
Just
They brought that character back, and
they
that
just
character
retconned
has
that
such a really awesome back history to him.
Okay.
It's Daniel.
Was he
But,
like just hiding underneath the trash can the whole time or something?
No, he was the barber that was in the first season. I don't know if it was in the first episode.
None of it was
or not.
memorable, and it took forever. So I literally don't recall anything about that.
It's only 6 episodes per season.
You
can get through it in an afternoon.
2 hours.
No, it was only an hour.
It felt like 2 hours.
Yeah, probably. Welcome to Crippled System episode 209. We already said that. My name is Andy. I play Kador.
It's divisible by 11 and 19.
Okay.
I'm Nathan, and right now I don't play War Machine, but it's a great game. Stop messaging me, asking me why I stopped playing War Machine. It's because I suck. You should play War Machine. It's a great game.
Play War Machine. Peer pressure. Peer pressure.
My name is Jake. I am currently playing Signar, and in 2 weeks I'm going to start playing Grimkin and Trolls intermittently.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm Dave, and I'm playing Retribution at the moment.
Yay!
Yay!
Like everybody, apparently.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, that's why I stopped playing Retribution, because there was 9 Retribution players at the
I
local
counted
store
out,
today.
it was 6.
Yeah.
We had 6 full-time.
You don't need to
players.
correct me. I was just exaggerating. But
I
I wasn't
know.
exaggerating that much.
That's exactly why I said
Hyperbole.
6.
Yes.
Hyperbole.
Yeah.
Hyperbole.
Speaking of that, we do know exactly how many people are playing Retribution at the Wisconsin Team
We
Championship.
do, but we're not going to tell anybody yet. We're going to publish the list live. If
Yes.
anybody's in chat, they'll be first to know. The
Yes.
people watching us live can follow
are
along
we
and see
even
all the
live?
data. I don't know.
Oh, hey!
You're the one
hey.
fucking. Oh yay! There's people there on the thing. Red Wolf wants me to. I will publish the list, but first I have to mention for anybody who missed it is that Andy has once again accelerated the Pain Train videos. There was kind of a while where there weren't any movie Pain Trains. There's been a slight change in the format. It's no longer Watch Bad Movies. The new title of the series is Andy watches movies he loves with his friends.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty much it.
You haven't seen Ice Pirates? And then he watches Ice Pirates.
That's pretty much what happened.
I know that's what happened.
We should do one
Jeff-
for Snatch now.
Also, Travis, you don't count.
Yeah. Jeff came over Saturday to watch Last Action Hero. Because
There's good movies with Mikey on Last Action Hero.
Yep. So I purchased Last Action Hero off of Amazon. I ended up getting it for cheaper than what it would cost me to rent it. So, but then I got the
amazing.
The Blu-ray, put it in. The sound quality on the Blu-ray was so bad, I still ended up streaming it. It was really, really bad. Like, yeah. But Jeff really liked that movie, and then as we were going through all the other movies that I have, he was like, "What? I'm like, have you seen Ice Pirates?" He's like, "No."
Nobody's seen Ice Pirates, Andy.
And then I'm like, "Well, have you seen
I've
Dead
seen
Heat?"
Ice Pirates.
Nobody that matters.
It was like, "Have you seen Dead Heat?"
And I'm including like 75% of his table has seen Ice Pirate.
I have not seen Ice Pirates.
What?
Why are you guys surprised by this?
We're not surprised at all. You've never heard of Ice Pirates?
I have.
We could make up any plot line and stars we wanted to.
Like I could tell you that there's a castration conveyor belt in the movie, and you have no idea if that's true or not.
I had to imagine that it is or is. It's one of those two.
All right, we're going to
yeah,
watch
let's
the movie.
see. It like they're on a conveyor belt and there's like giant chomping teeth. Like it's not even blades; it has like cartoon teeth that go chomp chomp chomp. That's gonna bite off their balls. I'm going with that as my description of the castration conveyor belt.
I gotta
True or
watch this
false?
movie now.
True or false, Jake? What do you think?
True.
It is true.
Okay.
There is so in this there's a car chase sequence where there's guys on motorcycles. A guy on a motorcycle runs over a baby robot. There's 3 robots. There's a baby robot, and then a
Mommy and
daddy
daddy
robot, and a mommy robot. Baby robot gets run over, and immediately mama robot gets run over, and then the middle robot is going, mommy, baby.
True or false?
False.
No, this is all true.
That's
Ice
very
Pirates
true.
is the greatest show.
So again, there's another incident too. Is where an exact quote from the film is the ship's got herpes.
Their ship has herpes. Space herpes.
True.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything's true.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say I predict Dead Heat as the next movie Pain Train, because that's another treasured Andy film.
What are you talking about?
It's great. It stars the guy from House.
Which one?
His buddy, the oncologist, is in it.
He's
Treat Williams? Is it? Wait, no. I don't know what you're talking about.
the Watson to his home's on house. That guy.
The whole time we watched Dead Heat, I was pointing out the fact that guy looked exactly like House's buddy from House.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have to watch it again so I can annoy you again?
Yeah,
Because you were really annoyed.
Yeah. Well, I tried to block it out. I mean, it is Dead Heat. Goddamn, that film's great.
Heat, they fight a zombie side of beef.
Yeah.
They're in a butcher shop and just a side of beef comes to life and attacks him.
Yep. There's also ducks that
feel
are
like-
alive, too.
I feel like the 80s had this wonderful, like, cross-section of insane films that came out that we just don't get now.
An obscure family favorite that up there with like Ice Pirates and whatnot was Morons from Outer Space. We loved that movie.
So were these all, like, canon films?
No, these were like
Ice Pirates is MGM.
MGM? Oh,
Yep.
wow. Because it seems like all that, the sort of weirdness that would come out of, like, canon.
The scary part about Ice Pirates is the budget for it. They must have had actually a ridiculously large budget for it. It was more than what the movie deserved. Like, if somebody read the
how
script...
dare you, sir?
Was like the budget like $7.5 million or something?
I don't know, but it was just really well done.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
like, all the sets were real done, costumes were real done. The script just didn't live up to what the budget was, which is weird.
And sometimes a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's not Waterworld bad.
Yeah.
As in the budget was out of insane in there. Ice Pirates has got, they call it a parody, but it's not really parodying anything other than space adventure.
Okay.
Which is a fine. I mean, so it is what it is, right? It's like Galaxy Quest is not like a straight parody of anything. I guess you could say it's got the Star.
It's really a
It's
Star
still
Trek
This is a
parody.
serious Star Trek.
It is
parody.
not a Star Trek parody.
It is
Yes,
a
it
Star
is.
Trek parody.
It's not a Star Trek parody.
Yeah, it is.
It's-
Yeah.
It's real
Show
close.
that was on for a period of time, got canceled, and is being brought back as a...
That doesn't make it a
series.
parody.
I mean, it is a
They're not-
loving
It's sharing the
parody.
likeness of, but it's... And the goofy adventures of...
None of its
the
jokes
character.
come at the expense of Star Trek. They don't, it's not a parody. Like, that's like saying Three Amigos is a parody of Westerns. It's not. It just is a Western.
So is that
I
like,
guess it makes fun of the tropes of those type of
Yeah.
of that genre of those genres, especially Three Amigos does
Right.
make fun of the
and so Ice
tropes of
Pirates
those
makes
genres.
fun of the tropes of the space adventure things. It's not to me to be a parody. You have to be more specific, send-ups and whatnot.
I don't
you get to be
see it making
mean?
fun of of any other type of thing other than like Ship getting herpes, and that it's not. I don't really see it making fun of things.
Maybe. I mean, whatever. I mean, that's like arguing about what ironic means, right? Is it ironic to have rain on your wedding date?
Don't you
No.
think?
Unless you're a weatherman and said it was going to be sunny.
No, of course.
No, then you're just wrong.
Yeah,
Of course,
it would be wrong. It would be
having a
ironic.
song
That's not-
called "Isn't It Ironic" that doesn't actually contain any irony is ironic,
No, it's just inaccurate.
but it's
kinda
ironic
what I said,
because it's supposed to do something and it does exactly the opposite, which is literary irony. So the song itself is
irony?
ironic.
Just doing the opposite of what you're supposed to is irony. So it's like, is my dishwasher ironic if it doesn't clean dishes?
I mean, if you set it up to do so.
For so-
if you set everything up, if you set your dishwasher up to wash dishes and it just dirties them, then yes, it is ironic, but it's not worth talking about.
I don't know if
But
it's
still
ironic.
ironic.
I think it's just a bad dishwasher.
Yeah.
I don't think anything's ironic. Here's a funny story about ironic. I don't think I've told this story. Have I told this story? I don't think I've told this story.
Well, you know what? If you have, we have somebody with a very short memory.
the
And then
aforementioned
there's
trip
Andy and
to Europe in October of 2001 when I went full retard to not get shot by Italian police in the airport. Like two or three...
Oh my god! What?
You know, I'm not going to tell you this is your punishment for not listening to our podcast. I told the story in detail like 3 episodes ago.
No, but I know you, so like I'm not gonna I don't listen to Views on Minis anymore because I live like a block away from Keith. I'm not gonna I just see you guys every day.
So anyway, my dad, my brother, and I were visiting my uncle, who is a priest who lives in Germany. He's actually a German citizen now because he's been there so long. He's to the point where he actually thinks in German instead of English because of how gone native he is. So we drove up to Amsterdam. And, you know, we visited the Anne Frank Museum, we visited the Van Gogh Museum, because that's how those fucking Europeans pronounce Van Gogh. And we went to the red light district. It was fun. We didn't, you know, buy anything, but it was fun to window shop. My uncle used the phrase, because he was amazed at the variety.
did you see the flying dildo show?
I did not see a flying dildo show, but he was amazed at the variety. Like, there's all shape, sizes, and colors in there, and he said, well, I guess one man's owl is another man's nightingale, which I thought was a beautiful way to describe an ugly woman. But, so then on the whole car ride home, we got into an argument. Well, first of all, so we see Ass Man's handy like hardware store, and we're laughing at the fact that this guy's name is Ass Man. Okay, and we're laughing and laughing and laughing, and George's like, you know, that's not funny. His name is Osman. Osman. I mean, it's just his name. I don't see what's funny. And so Adam's like, what if his name was in whatever German for butt, man? And he's like, that would be funny. But anyway, so the whole trip home, we are arguing about what is and isn't ironic. This whole fucking thing, this conversation for like 4 hours back to his house. We're arguing, and George is just silent driving the car while the three of us are being full-on Hoffman obnoxious to each other. Like, I'm the least obnoxious of the 3 people that were in that car arguing about irony.
Wow.
So we get back to his house without saying a word. He storms in. He goes to his bookshelf. He pulls down a dictionary. He opens it up, and he flips it. He says, an event happening contrary to what is expected or determined to be likely. That's irony. And we pause, and we look, and they're like, well, I think that supports my definition. We start arguing again, and she says, why don't you look up obnoxious? Threw the dictionary at us, and then stormed to his bedroom and went to sleep. It's the proudest moment we've had as a family.
I really want to know this. I'm gonna have to listen to your podcast.
Yeah, well, yeah.
No, you
Something
don't
about
have to.
Italians.
I was picked up at the Tucson airport on suspicion of smuggling drugs from Mexico.
Really?
Yeah.
To be fair, anytime I see you, I assume you're smuggling drugs from Mexico.
I mean, I have never been to Mexico in my life.
That's what somebody smuggling drugs from Mexico would say.
Yes.
Yeah. You coming back from Mexico? No.
All right.
That's
Well,
our announcements.
announcements this coming Saturday is going to be an event in Madison, I believe. Isn't Rick running one concurrent with Gen Con for those of us who couldn't afford to go
running
there?
a Champions event on Saturday. Good thing that Rick has always contacted me ahead of time to get all the supplies needed for running said event.
He has it.
He hasn't even contacted you
No.
yet? Classic Rick.
Yep.
No, the best part is I'm leaving Wednesday morning to go to Indianapolis.
Ooh, he's SOL.
So I'll have to leave.
That's
him
okay. No one will
someplace.
be there anyway.
No, actually, I think there'll
There'll be people.
I'm cautiously optimistic. They already sold out of VIG badges over at for War Machine Weekend.
Really?
Yep. And so I'm very curious to see how much more is going to sell for War Machine Weekend. I feel like there's going to be probably a lot more people there than probably last year.
I'm trying to decide if it would be wrong to bring Mega Civilization to War Machine Weekend.
No, that's fine.
All right. Think I can get a full 18-person team game going?
Probably.
How
Probably
much
not.
alcohol is involved?
Huh?
How much alcohol is involved?
Hopefully zero. The game is made of cardboard and cost me $300. So
We'll have like tape on the floor around it, and it's like no liquids past this
well,
point.
you know what? I can just do the Brian Geezy thing, which is if you spill a liquid on one of his games, you just bought that game, right? And so if somebody wants to buy me another copy of Mega Civ, they can drink beer all around it.
Yeah, I had that happen to me with my Warhammer Quest.
Yeah?
Yeah, a friend of mine spilled some beer all over the tiles, which we were able to clean it, but it still invoked the no drinking on game table day, ever. Yay!
So
So
it's the only one. It's been in the the WITC is next Saturday.
Yes, it
Gen
is.
Con.
And we will
Gen
eventually
Con,
get
yeah,
lists.
whatever. Gen Con. Gen Con's this week.
I'm gonna be at Gen
Are you
Con.
going to be doing anything at Gen Con?
First day, I'm going to be... My schedule for Gen Con is very light. First day on Thursday, I'm going to be going to the Greater Than Games release event. I got a ticket somehow. I don't know what it was, but it's the folks that make Sentinels of the Multiverse. So I'm going to be going to that thing. Saturday, I'm going to try to learn how to play Guild Ball from Ben Lang, maybe. Or Friday.
I'm waiting for him to push the button.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Sidebar over there.
yeah. You're not supposed to have
Andy's
sidebars on the
talking.
podcast. We're talking.
That's why I didn't do it on mic.
You should be listening and
it
participating.
picks up very good.
Oh, it does?
Yes.
So sorry.
Yeah.
You're so rude.
You are
Yeah.
rude.
Hey, spoiler, Jake doesn't give two shits about you or anything you're doing at Gen Con.
Well, I'm just going to return his money then.
Ooh.
Are you really?
What? Were you ninja shopping?
Yeah, I was
Grimkin?
gonna ninja.
Oh, he's going to get the ninja. Not the ninja.
I think I'm going to start
Grimkin.
Grimkin now.
Yeah.
That Jake lost his ninja shopper. That sounds like a perfect opportunity to get in.
If that thing Outpost 31 game is at Gen Con, someone should buy that for me. I
Which
don't
one
think it'll
is that?
be there.
The thing
Not Who
there?
Goes There.
It's another
Who
thing
Goes
there?
There is the Kickstarter that just ended. There's one that's just based straight on the movie The Thing called The Thing Encounter at Outpost 31. It's something at Outpost, like, disaster at Outpost 31. There's some noun in there
Sure.
at
sure.
Outpost 31. I could pull up what it's called on this supercomputer in my hand, but that's effort. And look, I'm hovering over the published list thing, Jake. Aren't you excited?
I am
It's a
excited.
topic you care about because it's not a friend's life.
I care about Andy's life. I just don't know anything
He
about
doesn't
Sentinels
get-
of the Might.
I just figured it out. I'm not a friend to Jake.
Andy, don't say that, dude. I'm so sorry.
That's probably why you're always saying how much you don't like him.
Wait, what?
Yeah. That explains it. I mean, the hours of rain.
You are wrong, whoever you are. Valerian is not a great movie.
So
Miso 82 has said that Valerian is a great movie.
So wouldn't I don't know if we made this clear last time. You don't just respond directly to the chat. You have to read out what the chat says
was so
to
angry,
piss you
though.
off.
yeah, no, like,
I mean, I understand that it's going against all grains in your body to say Valerian is a great movie, because Valerian is a great movie.
you are wrong as well, Andy. Have you seen it?
Zach Becker sent me a link to the trailer for the new television series of Valerian.
Yeah,
Apparently there's
I
an anime series.
I can
Yeah.
legitimately see an animated series
Television
of that being
series?
really, really good.
Yeah, if they have enough time for the exposition.
Yeah, I mean, just like I read a couple of the comics for it too, and the comics are amazing. The movie is terrible. If you like the comics, you should hate that movie with every fiber of your being. Hate that movie.
So it's Luc Besson's second best film, third best film.
He also made Femme Nikita, and he made
I know, I'm joking.
Leon the Professional.
Yeah, those
So
are
it's
great
his
movies.
fourth best movie.
No, it's his worst movie. Femme Nikita, Leon the Professional, Fifth Element, and Lucy are all better than it.
He made Lucy?
Yes.
Okay.
And Lucy is flawed, and we've been over this almost literally every episode since Lucy came out. But my guess is it's better than Valerian.
I mean, it would pretty much have to be.
Legion has landed, says the Rihanna sequence is pointless. That's impossible. It had Rihanna, and she's Bae.
The Rihanna segment was pointless, but it was the closest that film had to actually being like something with energy. The entire film is mostly Dane DeHaan walking around being like, who cares? Also, if you like cool French comics, oh yeah, no, I didn't read the last half of your post. Yeah, read the Ingall. That's good.
My favorite French comic is Asterix and Obelisk.
I don't know that one.
Oh, you don't know Asterix and Obelix?
Wait, what?
Oh my God, they are they're Gaul during the Roman era.
You.
Oh, it's hilarious.
You don't even know where I need to be in like in
The
terms of
names are
things.
hilarious. Like they're Asterisk and Obelisk, and all of the characters in their village, their names end with that suffix.
Yeah.
So my favorite is their pharmacist, whose name is Getafix.
And you have a degree in literature.
I do.
Hilarious.
Most of my literature background is post World War II American literature, looking at anti-intellectualism and right-wing extremism. So it's been a killer week.
He
for
just
me.
reads Garfield. That's all he does.
Yeah, I just read Garfield. That's right.
Garfield without Garfield.
Boo Mondays.
Do you watch the Lasagna Cat videos on YouTube?
No, but I do love Garfield without Garfield.
The Lasagna Cat videos are astounding. They're like some amazing Dada-esque insanity that they put way too much effort into. One of my favorites they did recently, they had an open thing where you could send in a message how many sexual partners you'd had, and then they just had this whole like 7-hour video where they just had computer like text to voice read people's answers while they just kind of stood there and listened, but the video was in real time, and so like the clock advanced and the light went on, and it was just insane. And then the thing ends with like horrificness. Like after they get the last answer, a guy goes on a spirit journey in the desert and meets a naked savage man painted red and black like Garfield, and then a teenage girl has an abortion in a bathroom and then says something in French about the universe being pain, and then the credits roll. It's amazing. It's
so
the most
goddamn
surreal
weird.
Dada anti-art. Like if you think Tim and Eric are like, what are those guys doing? This is subverting whatever. Lasagna Cat is insane.
Yeah. So Miso writes, the Rihanna sequence was both the most pointless sequence in the movie and the most enjoyable to watch. If the most enjoyable part of your movie, and really the only enjoyable part of your movie, is completely pointless, that movie is terrible.
Counterpoint, maybe it was the only point of the movie that was important, and the rest was pointless to that story.
Then that...
You're calling
that
that...
fucking 2-hour journey to get there was the worst thing in the world.
There was a sequence that was in Friday the 13th Part 9 that involved Jason, or not Jason, a bunch of people walking up to a Necronomicon, paging through it for a second, and then leaving it there. So that scene was useless, and that movie was okay. Better than Valerian.
Yeah.
Not saying much.
Not saying much at all. God, I hate that movie.
You know what other movie Rihanna's in that's amazing?
What? Battleship?
Battleship.
Battleship is amazing.
It won me over when the alien weapons actually shot out the red pegs from the game. I'm not even joking,
Yeah,
David.
yeah, it was
And the
awesome.
alien weapons they shoot, and their missiles slam into the ships, and they're no joke, like 10-foot tall versions of the red pegs from the game, and they just slam into the ship and sit there for a second before exploding and destroying the ship entirely.
Yep, the best part.
It's amazing.
There's a sequence of the film. All right, so one ship just hits by like 3 of those things, just thunk thunk thunk, and then it explodes. And the ship just explodes like no one's business.
Like, these things are, like, insane.
Yep. The next ship they shoot them into, they shoot like 50 into it for no apparent reason.
Like, that is overkill.
They killed the shit out of Kitch's brother doing that, though.
That movie is legitimately entertaining. It's a bad sci-fi flick, but it's entertaining.
It's
all the
fun.
way
It
through.
knows. And it is either... I don't know if this is intentional or not, and if this was intentional, this movie is secretly brilliant. But the aliens never attack first.
They don't.
In every single fight, whether it be on land or at sea or in the air, no matter where we're fighting the aliens, every time they're just chilling. They're doing nothing, and then we attack them, and then they murder the fuck out of us.
There's like, I've watched that film 5 times in theaters somehow.
What?
Yeah. No, because me and my friend saw it for...
That was Jake's Fury Road.
Yeah, we did. Me and my friends saw it.
Jesus, that explains a lot.
Me and my friends watched it 5 times because we had movies where they're like $2 on Tuesdays.
Okay.
And every time, like every week, it's like, oh, I wanted to go see that for some reason. So we would go again to let that one person watch it. And by like the 3rd time, I realized that movie is actually a satire of those like big blockbuster CGI extravaganzas. Just watch it. Like half of it makes no sense, and maybe it was like strange Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge difference between bad films that are perfectly aware they're bad films and bad films that were trying to be great.
It's like a small directorial change. Like they just need a little bit more light, and all of a sudden it's like straight up just like mocking the shit out of those terrible. I can't even think of the guy's name, but like Transformers.
Here's a callback question: is there a functional difference between a satire and a parody?
I think
Because that might explain our differing stance on Galaxy Quest. Like,
Galaxy Quest.
I didn't think
Yeah,
about
I would
that
say
one.
it's more
Galaxy-
of a satire
Galaxy
than-
Quest
but what's the
definitely
difference then?
satire.
Like, is a satire like you play it straight, but you're having fun with it, and a parody is mocking it directly?
yeah, I
Or-
get that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
satire is
Okay.
It's a play it straight.
So
It's
we
like-
agree
like
that
Airplane,
Ice Pirates and Galaxy Quest and whatnot are satires, but not parodies.
like
Scary
parody
Movie.
or
Yeah.
Airplane. That is a satire.
Right.
No, I'd say that's a parody because that.
No, it's not a parody, because what's it a parody of?
Specifically like Airplane 78 or
Wikipedia
Airport
says
78?
Galaxy Quest is a parody.
Right, but not
Well,
a satire.
Wikipedia is
Or is it
wrong.
satire?
It's probably just edited by you.
Also, Wikipedia thinks that opera didn't know the difference between operas and musicals, so...
Yeah, I tried to find out what that was, but I ended up having to ask Nate about that at work.
A parody of science fiction films and series, particularly Star Trek and its fandom.
Yeah, we think you edited that.
Yeah, you could
Right
have
here,
just
right
done
now.
that.
Let me log into my router and revote access.
If Ice
Change
Pirates
it
had a
back.
guy in a bathrobe with a laser sword, you know, like compare Ice Pirates to Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Correct.
One of those is a satire and one of those is a parody. And I would say the parody is the one that is directly imitating something to mock it.
Which is Spaceballs.
Right. Whereas a satire is a joking but individual, you know, like Ice Pirates.
I mean, Galaxy Quest was not mean. That it was a very loving treatment of Star
More of an
Trek.
homage, actually.
But homage as much as anything else. But I mean, it was very clearly Star Trek. It wasn't just science fiction. It was Star Trek. I mean, it was the
That's fair, that's
the,
fair.
You had the young kid at the controls. You had a bridge set up that could have been a Star Trek ship, and you had the entire structure was built around the typical Star Trek episode. I mean, it was written by people that knew Star Trek and loved Star Trek, and it was based off of Star Trek. So I mean, I think at that point you could fairly call it a parody because it is pretty directly aimed at the one series.
Fuck it, I'm going to publish lists.
Okay, lists are published.
Quick thing about Valerian. I'm so mad about this. The scene where Valerian ran through the world was cool looking. Legion has posted about that. It's a long post, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. But the only thing that would have made that scene better is if the camera just stood still and let him run right the fuck away from you and just we never saw him again. Because that man is a black hole of charisma. The fucking Elephant Graveyard has more charisma than him. Dane DeHaan is a national disaster. I hate him. He needs to be a better actor or go away. Don't care which one. Fuck.
Well, you won't have to watch him that long because he's already in his 30s. So he's already.
He's in his 30s?
Yeah.
Jesus.
What else
Yeah,
has he
that
done?
was the thing that I was arguing about. Is when I first saw the trailers for it, he looked way too young.
Yeah.
You guys gave me so much shit about me thinking that he looked way too young. He looks like he's 16.
Yeah.
He looks like he's the age of Spider-Man.
The only thing I know him from is he was in an episode or two of In Treatment, the HBO psychology drama.
Side note, it pisses me off that, so Raylene likes horror movies, and she likes Stephen King, so we're going to have to see It, which is fine. I like the book It. I am infuriated by the look of Pennywise in the new movie.
Yeah,
It is absurdly terrible design decision for the film.
It's just a demon clown. That's all it is.
He's
For
scary
what they-
looking.
Yeah.
He should not be scary looking.
I
You're
would say-
missing the entire point of the story, and specifically the point of the Pennywise character when you make him scary looking. The reason that It chooses the Pennywise form is to put children at ease, to make children trust it, to make children come to it. And when you look fucking terrifying, that doesn't happen. If you look at yes, when he's fighting them and gives himself razor blade teeth and whatnot, Tim Curry looks scary. But if you look at his default appearance in the miniseries he looks like a perfectly jovial Bozo the Clown. And I understand clowns are scary, blah, 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 but in general, like, apart from being scared of clowns, which some people are, he doesn't look scary. He looks like a nice, friendly clown.
It's like it sounds like it's part of the meta of our real world creeping into their remake. Because we grew up not liking Pennywise, in a sense, and they're the people who wrote the film.
I think it's simpler than that. I think it's a terrible writer / director / makeup artist / everything. Everybody involved in this movie is too fucking stupid to understand their own story. And they're like, this is a Stephen King movie. It should be scary. Make the clown scary.
Sure.
That seems like a studio note to me.
So there's another thing that's bothering me. Sorry, we're on Stephen King, so I'm going to go off on The Mist here for a second.
That show is fucking terrible.
It's
the
horrible.
Show or the movie?
The show.
The movie. I
movie's
don't
awesome.
remember anything besides this amazing ending.
The amazing ending for the Mist, but the show is really stupid. So you have a bunch of people that are caught up in places that there's a mist outside. Crazy shit happens in the mist. So you have somebody who got impaled by something.
Yeah.
Who's still living. It was just like one of the last episodes I saw. Impaled by a rebar after he got attacked by some people.
Yeah.
And so he was in the hospital. He's taking the pain medication, and then he's trying to beg his brother to kill him.
Yeah.
And they don't know what this is. In terms, this has been happening for, I believe, a day, maybe.
I think each episode's a day. The time on that show makes no sense. I've watched
even
almost
then,
every episode, but
even then, it's only been happening. This whole incident has been happening for a day, and there's people already going into the hopelessness, saying like, "I'm going to walk out into the mist and just die."
If it's only been a day, what's happening in the mall on that show makes no sense because they've gone from 0 to Murderville so fast.
Correct. They're basically running their own government there. It's Lord of the Flies at the mall.
Also, the mall manager doesn't know his way around the mall.
Correct.
Yeah. To be fair, I've worked retail. I've had managers. I can believe that the mall manager does not know his way around the mall.
But it's.
Can you not believe that?
I guess I just had a run of good managers.
Have you?
Yeah, Nate, you were great.
I'm thinking after me.
Oh.
I'm thinking the person who broke the Quimby. The unbreakable happy man.
She did not...
Isn't the Quimby free now?
The Quimby is free now.
Yeah.
I start my new job tomorrow.
Yeah. Which one of those two do you think a child will actually want to hang out with?
I've never seen the Tim Curry It one, but I'd go with the left one.
Yeah, you think, the whole fucking point of Pennywise is to lure kids by not looking threatening.
Yeah, I know.
Here's so I never lived before It or the books or anything like that. Was there ever a time where clowns weren't terrifying?
Not everybody's. I don't think clowns are terrifying.
I don't think
clowns are
clowns
fun.
are terrifying.
I think it's.
I grew up watching Bozo the Clown. I love clowns.
Okay.
Ronald McDonald isn't scary. He's a happy guy dancing around, and kids love him. His hamburgers will kill the shit out of you, and they're more addictive than crack cocaine, and that's an actual proven fact, not an exaggeration. But he's not scary. He's a friendly-looking guy.
Yeah,
he smiles and dances.
Everybody being afraid of clowns is a new thing.
Okay, because for me, growing up, there's always been something unsettling and creepy about clowns. Everything from growing up watching Rugrats and Chucky Finster being afraid of clowns. Clowns have always just kind of freaked me out.
I almost honestly think it's an influence from It.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
From back then.
I think it is. Furrydom isn't new. Clown fear isn't new. These things, none of these things are new. It's just in the world of the internet, we all have found out about the far number of people.
No. I had a coworker when I worked at Walmart. This is before the internet. This is during the internet, but this is late 90s that I used to torment when I worked at Walmart. There was a time.
You sound like a terrible friend.
You're agreeing with me, by the way. You shook your head and said no, but you're agreeing with me. So finish your story.
I'm not saying it's a new thing. I'm saying it's
I mean, there have
There's
always been some
folks
people that
that
are
have
afraid of clowns. The trope that a lot of people are afraid of clowns is relatively new and amplified by the
Right, that's what I'm
internet.
saying. Is like your friend was the guy, your coworker. Go ahead and talk about tormenting your guy. But my point is, I believe that because people in the 30s were scared of clowns. People in the 1700s were afraid of clowns.
Sure.
It's just that now with the internet, we all know how many people are scared of clowns, so it seems more public. That's what I'm saying. People in ancient Rome would put on animal skins and fuck each other. Furries aren't new.
Sure.
But the internet has said, hey, be open about it, you fucking weirdos.
Yeah.
So I
Was
used
there
to,
just like a run in the like
I want
mid?
to hear about him tormenting
sorry.
your friend. We keep
Sorry.
interrupting him.
Sorry.
it's kind of fun.
Yeah, tell us about tormenting your friend.
So we worked overnights, and she was off stocking some shelves, and Brian and we ended up putting one clown on one end of the aisle, and then put a clown on the other end of the aisle,
And just
she
trapped her in the aisle?
She had nowhere to go. Other than to go past clowns, and she's one of the people that's just petrified of clowns. Will not go near them. Just won't make eye contact. Yeah.
So mean.
So we left Deb in the aisle for like 5 hours.
Would you just like throw shit at one of them to knock it over? Climb over a shelf?
Quite possibly.
Bum rush it.
Probably took the cart and ran him over. But I think it was like old pinata clowns that we used.
Lists!
All
Yes,
right,
so we
Melissa
made-
Live, if you go to the front page of conflictchamber.com, there is a link to the Wisconsin Team Championship page, which currently has the new statistics interface, which I think looks pretty cool.
Event submission statistics is in the drop-down menu there, which
Yes.
is nice.
And we have all of the lists published, and we are about to start talking about them because there's some interesting stuff here.
Yeah, like the sheer number of rep players blew my mind.
I'm gonna go poop.
Well, there's some, you can go poop if you want. Like, we're not going to go into all the lists. There's 54 lists.
Yes.
But actually, there's more than 54 lists. There's 108 lists, huh? Because there's 54 players. So there's
54
108
players,
lists. We're not going to go into 108 lists. But interesting stuff. 0 troll players.
0 troll players.
And 10 ret players.
10 ret, 5 scorn. Was kind of happy to see a lot of scorn there.
3 Grimkin.
20% of your list is a ret.
10%.
Yeah.
10%.
Oh, no, these are players, right? Sorry?
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, you're right, about 20%.
Yeah.
10 out of 54. So, yeah.
I was like the lack of troll players. I was surprised by a little bit, but not like hugely surprised because the CID's going to be coming out. But I really thought there was going to be at least 1 or 2.
Eat it, Andy. I can't.
Just give me the thing.
So I got a sweet tart thing here. Okay, I know we're talking about lists here, but the chewy, soft sweet tarts look like somebody took a spree, sucked on it a little bit, and just threw it back in the bag.
Yeah, but they're delicious. They're chewy and
Does
sour
that
and
not look
sweet.
like just like a sweet tart or a spree?
I don't. I've never had a spree before, but I imagine they do.
A spree is a chewy sweet tart.
Oh.
So chewy sweet tarts are just spree.
Okay.
It's more hard candy. Spree.
No, I thought sweet tarts were hard and spree were soft.
Yeah.
That's
Sweet
why
tarts
they
are
have to
hard. They're like-
specify chewy sweet tarts because
Sweet
I
tarts
thought-
are like they're
There's
like
two different types.
They're like Smarties.
So spree
There's
well,
two
you're
different
confusing
types.
the British listeners because in their mind Smarties are like M&Ms.
Correct.
Or more like what are those ones that come in the tube, the circular ones? Chiclets.
Chiclets?
Sixlets. Chiclets is the candy, the
Oh,
gum.
yeah, yeah.
Sixlets.
I had never heard of Sicklets till they came into where we work, and Marshall told me about them.
It's like a standard for Halloween. You just get a little
tube
like a
of
whole-
Sixlets?
Yeah, a ton of them.
In America, you get a tube of Smarties, but Smarties are Sicklets in England because they have weird talk.
Correct.
Okay, way to shine a torch on that one for me.
But sprees are hard candy though. There is chewy sprees, but sprees normally they come in the same rolls as like bottle caps.
Yeah.
But they're sprees. There's two different types of sprees. There's also another type of sprees that are called Sun Sensations, which is the tropical sprees, and those are goddamn amazing, and they don't make them anymore that I know of. I wish I had them.
As long as we're talking about things that are tasty, you know, I said I was disappointed a couple of weeks ago that Coke Zero was going away. The new Coke Zero isn't bad, but I also determined that when they did the firmware update to update Coke Freestyle machines, and also the Coca-Cola Freestyle machine is one of the greatest inventions of the 21st century.
Yes.
If you're not already aware of this.
I looked into finding out how much it would cost to rent one of them.
I have as well.
They're
They're pricey.
They're really expensive.
Yeah.
It's like $300 a month just to have the machine.
I've still thought about it.
I have as well.
When they
I
had
would
the
have needed
update,
if they would just sell cherry vanilla diet pip extra.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
If I could just get cans of that shit, I would be happy.
No, the new one, in the new update that brought in the new Coke Zero, they also have a bunch of new flavors, and one of them is Mellow Yellow Zero Citrus Twist, which is the nectar of the fucking gods. And if you do not agree, if you've never had it, we are going someplace with a freestyle machine after the podcast, and I'm going to make you drink it.
I can't.
Will you pay?
Sure.
Yes, I have never had that. I don't know.
I legitimately have never had it and don't know, but if you're paying, I'll.
Which
only
fruits
get one
are
thing.
twisted in it?
Because
I always,
random
even
citrus
before
ones.
before the freestyle machines came out, I would oftentimes mix lemon lime soda and orange crush from the dispensers when I went and got stuff where there was fountains.
I generally only get peach Fanta Zero.
Peach.
They also have Mellow Yellow Zero Limeade, which is also really good, but the citrus twist is godly.
I'll give it a shot.
In chat, somebody posted color with the U to point out the way the British people talk, which is wrong. That's just cheating. You know, any of those extra U's, that's superfluous U. But I spell gray with an E. I always have. And that's the British way of spelling. You know, because E for E for England, A for America is the way to remember which continent spells which version of. Because I can never remember because I always did E, and I thought
I do E as well.
yeah, but
I
it's
usually
E for
do
England, A
A.
for America is the way that the spelling is. Also, something never occurred to me. They call cookies biscuits, you know, and that's fine, but whatever. And then
What do they call biscuits?
Scones.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, but they can be scones. They can be, you know, depending what they are. But scones is most common. Dense, buttery, you know, dry. Yeah, it's a scone.
Yeah, every time I've seen a thing of scones
you
with
don't
treacle,
give your
it's a biscuit
dog
and honey.
doggy cookies. You give them doggy biscuits. So for some reason, the cookies we give dogs we call biscuits, like the British, but the cookies we give to ourselves we call cookies.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's weird
Heavy stuff,
that vernacular didn't switch over. Also, we don't call them cold on the cobs like they do. We call them popsicles.
They call them cold on the cob?
No, they don't call them cold on the cob. And guns are also not Rudy Tooty point and shooties. List reveals, yes. Somebody in chat is having list reveals.
The lists are up. We're going to talk about them. If you go to conflictchamber.com, there's a link on the front page, and all the stuff is up. And look at the new statistics, because I think it looks pretty cool.
It does,
I'm
yeah, you did a
horribly
great job.
biased, but it does look cool.
Oh, who made it, Dave?
That would be me.
Oh, wow.
A couple interesting points that Dave pointed out. There was what was it, Calissa? There was like none at Denver, and now there's 8 of them amongst the 10 players or some shit.
The statistics. Yeah, one of the other. I was looking at this for the Rocky Mountain Rumble, which is you have event equals 10 for the for Wisconsin, and event equals 12 for Wisconsin. It's event equals 10 for the Rocky Mountain Rumble, because the statistics interface now works on all of the stuff we've got. And I was just looking at it in comparison because I thought it was interesting, because the the distribution of factions is not all that far off, other than they apparently really love Kador in Colorado. But I thought one of the things that was really interesting was that they had 9 Retribution players in the Rocky Mountain Rumble and 1 Calissa, and we have 10 Retribution players and 5 Calissas. So, the take-home from that is Steamroller 17 terrain placement is for reals, folks.
Yeah.
And there are 2 factions with 100% unique appearances by casters.
Yes.
Obviously, one with a smaller number of players, but the one with a smaller number of players also has a smaller number of casters.
Yes.
Because between the 4 convergence lists, 4 of the 5 casters are represented.
And minions, technically,
Yeah,
too.
but that doesn't count.
I didn't even look at minions. Minions has uniqueness?
There's only
Yes,
one minion
Minions
player.
has a uniqueness.
It's just,
Oh, so that's
Rick.
yeah.
It's just Rick.
Minions doesn't count, but
what was the...
Protectorate has 4. We have 4 Protectorate casters. We have 8 Protectorate lists and 8 unique casters.
I need to look at the convergence list because I do see Travis is in chat. Is Travis one of the convergence players? Is he using my Iron Mother plus a Conflux list? Because I see a Conflux
Travis
was
is playing
taken.
He's playing Grimkin.
Well, a Conflux was taken, so I'm curious. There's no easy way to look through the list to find who the players are.
Hey, Dave, what was the Haley distribution at the Rocky Mountain Rumble? Was it full boat of Haley 2s at for Signar?
I bet it's Dan Skibo.
Let's see, 5 Signar players at Rocky Mountain Rumble and 1 Haley 2. Yes, 1 Haley 2.
Dan from Chicago is running a Conflicts with Iron Mother. I feel great about that because at Adepticon, he and I almost got in a fist fight because I kept claiming that it was good with her and he thought I was a fucking idiot. And I'm like, you think you're so smart? Try it, buddy. He's like, it's got to be terrible. And then every month or so after that, he'd message me progress he was having testing it, and now he's bringing it.
Yeah.
Good job, Dan. I'm happy to see that happen.
Well, that I think is one of the interesting things of the Rocky Mountain Rumble is they had 5 Signar players, and the only Signar caster that was duplicated was Striker 1.
There was only one Haley 2?
There's only 1 Haley 2. There's 1 Haley 3. There was
Wow.
one Sloan.
We have 10 Signar players and 8 Haley, or 8 and 6. Rather.
Yeah, we have 8. We have 8 Signar players and 6 Haley 2s.
Yeah. The two who are not are Jackie Christensen is bringing, I think, Nemo 1, and I forgot the other
Probably
one.
Striker 2.
Striker 2 dual Colossals, I think.
Cray.
What team is Jackie on?
She's Striker 2 Cray. She's
No,
on
what
pointy-eared, green-blooded Gobber Brigade.
Yeah.
Is that? Oh,
Yeah, she's bringing. Yeah, she.
I was curious if it was a lady team, because if it was the lady team, I would have been surprised that Danielle Nowick wasn't bring minions, because she is big into minions. But I guess she's just not making it to the event.
Yeah, no, she's going. She's going to Gen Con the week before, and she's just going to be tuckered out. I talked to her a
No,
little
she
bit
wasn't the
before
one. She wasn't the one running dual Colossals. There are a dual Colossal list or two in there as well.
No, but Jackie's rocking Cray, which is awesome.
Let's see. What were some of the other interesting lists that I had seen?
Well, this year, as you pointed out, there's only 5 casters that are taken more than twice.
Yes, there are exactly 5. Those are Haley 2, of course, Kalissa.
I'm looking
Coven.
at Asian and Assyria. Both were taken 3 times.
Yeah, Aussie and Assyria, and then Coven was taken 4 times, and those are the only casters taken more than twice. So I mean, we've got a really good distribution. And I mean, honestly, if you look at the little chart with how the factions are taken care of outside of Ret and Signar being kind of big, there's a reasonable distribution if you ignore the fact that we're completely missing trolls.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure if like all the Grim King casters were legal too, we'd probably have a really good spread of that.
Well,
And probably less Heretic and Child if they weren't
Yeah.
so new. Those ones, all those casters are pretty difficult to play.
Yeah, I'm sure we would see a lot more Old Witch.
Yeah, I was
if,
gonna say
yeah.
no Old Witch, but she's not legal yet.
No, I
she's
wasn't-
Street Date Gen Con or
Street 8, I think it's like 1 or 2 weeks after. It's like the first
Yeah,
week.
it's not. Yeah, the street date I've got for her is after the Wisconsin Team Championship.
That explains
so it's
it.
not,
Because,
yeah, it's not
like-
legal for validation.
Since I'm having someone pick me up Old Witch at Gen Con, I was actually going to play Grimkin at the event just to like say screw it and have a lot of fun with it. But since I couldn't, I just went with Signar.
fair.
Yeah.
Because learning the Arcana is so tricky and when to use them that I didn't want to be completely incompetent.
Yeah.
So I was hoping to just get a caster with a normal feat.
Also, somewhat surprisingly, Jake is the only one playing Kane 3.
I'm surprised you're playing Kane 3 because he has like a 40-60 win percentage. You're going with something that week? Are you hoping to get thrown into some bad matchups? You're just going to ditch the Kane 3 right into some
Jake
fucking
is
bad
going to be
matchups?
catching grenades all tournament long.
That was one of the bigger mistakes I've made playing
Or-
this game.
Or he's going to get the easy matchups.
Yeah.
Well, he's playing Kane 3. Every matchup's an easy matchup.
No, it's not.
Overpowered caster is overpowered!
I was wrong about my initial impression of Kane 3.
Well, your description was probably
And
right,
so,
as if he was playing
for the
as a
record-
mercenary caster.
Yes, for the record, what's your opinion of Siege 2?
I think he's quite bad. So
right,
hold on to
so-
your hats, folks, in 2 to 3 weeks when he's busted.
Invest in
legit.
Siege 2.
You said Siege 3, I think, didn't you?
I might have seen Siege. I meant Siege 2.
I mean, to be fair, he does nothing to protect his army, apart from, Razor Wall and the ability to move his trenchers backwards out of a cloud so that your enemy can't attack you in any way, shape, or form.
And,
But apart from those, he does nothing to protect his army.
You're forgetting that he can move everyone back and dig them in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
cover
that
and
too.
everything.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that he can protect himself by just dropping a medium base, like arm 20
Arm
thing,
8,
arm
18
18 thing directly in front of him every
Yeah,
turn.
Every single turn, yeah.
Just like, boom, body block.
Yep,
But
no
is he-
protection at all.
Is he actually? I thought he turned into a medium base.
He is a medium base.
Yeah.
He also looks like he's slipping on a patch of
Still
black
makes
ice.
it hard for...
He
Yeah.
does have the high ground.
Well, yeah, it's not so much for protection from shooting. It's for protection from something just charging you in the face and eating it.
Like, oh, I'm hugging this. I'm hugging this wall here. There's a wall, and I'm here, so I have cover, and I'll go pew, and then I'll put a medium base there. And hey, guess what? No charging me. No line of sight. Boop boop boop. Brownie.
Just draw a dick on my.
Dick. Spewing
You
out.
already had one here. You could just put a little have it there.
No, see, you go to Target and they're going to have this Xbox 360 and this PlayStation and then all these games up here. That's my favorite example of why you don't tell people they're going to be fired in a month and then let them keep working on national television for that month.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Was it Matt Myra on Black Friday deals for Attack of the Show?
Yeah.
Look that up on YouTube. It's one of the greatest things. ever.
Because the guy, what's the name of the actor that plays Captain Jack Harkness on Doctor Who and Torchwood? David, you're a giant nerd.
John Barrowman.
Yeah, Behrman, yeah.
I only know that
he was
because
the
my
guest
wife watches
host.
those shows, so.
He was the guest host, and I swear he was going to piss himself and die. He could not stop laughing while this guy just drew cocks all over the television for an hour. It was great. Not an hour, for like 15 minutes.
You've seen Superbad, right?
Yeah. It's that. Because the guy has a telestrator, and he's just going over all the great Black Friday deals, and all he's doing is circling the best deals, and some of those circles are oval, and then have two smaller circles with lots of lines coming off of them, as he highlights which deals are the best. And he just keeps fucking doing it, and that's why you don't tell people that they're fired and let them work on national television for a month.
All right, so back to lists. I also think it's really interesting that in the Protectorate of Minoth, also in the statistics that breaks down the casters and the themes, that there's only one Amon, but 5 lists played in Creator's Might. And it's just me, but to me, Creator's Might is just Amon, the theme.
I mean, Durst can run it.
Durst can run it.
Why not
Durant,
play Amon?
Durant can run it, but if you're running Durant, why not just run Amon?
Yeah, there is no.
I'm opinionated.
Durant.
There's one Durant.
That's Durant. No, sorry, not Durant. Fred Durst.
Yeah, there's no Durst.
No Durst.
Let's see. We have an Una 2. We have both Balders, one of each, though. Wormwood's the only circle caster repeated. Kador is also interested. Butcher 1 is the only repeated Kador caster. Only one Vlad 1.
There's only one Vlad one?
Only one Vlad 1, yes.
Yeah.
What are you people doing?
I was expecting to see multiple Vlad 1 Harkovich.
No Vlad 2s. Remember when Vlad 2 was like an unbeatable monster machine that won every tournament ever?
Nope.
That was Mark 1.
Oh.
He was not fair.
No. Coven, there in Crix, there are 4 Covens.
5 years ago. Huh?
It was 5 years ago. Sorry, go ahead.
Wow.
It's really sad.
A national treasure.
In Crix, there are 4 Covens. The only other caster in Crix that is duplicated is Terminus.
What?
So how many
My boy
Crix casters?
Terminus.
So how many Crix casters were, or how many Crix lists?
There are 6 Crix. There are 6 Crix lists. There are 4 Covens, 2 Terminuses, and 1 of everybody else. So that means there are more. There are as many Terminuses as Asphyxius 2
So
and
there's
Denegra 1
as
combined.
many. There's 2 times as many Terminuses as Denny ones.
Yes.
Somebody
What
brought
are
Denny
you-
2.
Yeah, that was Dan.
Somebody brought Denny 2.
No,
Dan.
Dan didn't.
Dan. I'm almost positive.
Did he have a stroke and think that her feet was the same as in Mark 2?
No, he has like
He
a
might have.
whole insane plan.
Is the insane plan to bring a terrible caster and lose?
Yes, he has Denny 2 and Gaspy 2.
Denny
I don't
2
know, I don't
And
understand.
Gaspy, so he honestly does think it's Mark 2. Like, if this was Mark 2, that would be an unbeatable pairing.
Yeah, well, Gaspy 2 and Dark Host is really good now. I'm surprised there's only one of them.
But he got septuple nerfed.
Because everybody who plays Crix has Gaspy 2, and now he's good again, so why didn't we see more of him?
Is he good again?
Yeah.
Why?
He's better again.
Because he plays really well with Dark Host.
I mean, so
does Denny.
he is unplayable garbage. What about Dark Host makes him go from being literally the worst caster in the game to not?
He was not worse than Connie B.
Yes?
Well, we actually had this conversation at work.
Yes, he
ended up
was.
being right. Damn it.
Like, he's terrible.
I did spend an entire day at work trying to think of something he did.
The inability to charge his own models made him unplayable because he can't get the extra distance for the feet.
Yeah.
He can't move up feet and then teleport away as safe. Like, there's so much terrible about him. But I guess if they see it, he got 4 buffs in December, according to somebody in chat. I don't remember what buffs he got.
Can you list those 4 buffs?
That'd be great because,
that'd be
unless
great.
I haven't seen how he changed from when Mark 3 started.
They took his cloud. His cloud was an upkeep. It's no longer an upkeep. In Dark
So he's back
Host,
being able to spam the clouds.
he can spam
Okay.
the clouds. Dark Host lets him place 2 4-inch clouds, 20 inches up the board.
Being able to spam the clouds again is a big help.
Yeah.
Actually, that's huge.
I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, he has a lot of issues. I'm not sure he's particularly playable outside of Dark Host. But once you with the spammable clouds and that you get extra clouds in theme, and in theme all of your Banes have prowl.
That's all right. Fine.
What is going on? We're trying to figure out what happened with Gatsby 2.
No, that's fine. All right, Gatsby 2.
Yes,
Gatsby 2,
we've
Denny
got to
2.
be careful. We've got to be careful here, or we
past.
might turn this into a War Machine podcast.
And we might give people... We don't want to ruin Dan's strat by telling all of his tactics to people.
If you're teching for our team, guys, you've already lost.
Let's see. Mercs, double Fexus. Sure, makes sense. Kane 3 and Mercs.
Yeah,
Yes.
Josh is playing that.
Oh, my goodness.
I think he's doing double galleons.
I assume he is. Like, that's the only way to play Kane 3 and Mercs is double galleons.
Let's see. Yes. Kane 3, Galleon.
Andy has a treat for our viewers. But that's fine. They can
There's
listen
no
to us,
sound going through it, but it's just
so
the
they
video.
they can watch it while listening to us. That's fine. That works.
Oh, Legion
Also-
has landed in real time, figured out what was going on.
So I figured out the reason why we have so few Calissas is that the team Kill All Humans is playing nothing but Retribution.
Okay.
Oh, that's hilarious. So there should be more Calissas than that. They just weren't allowed to.
Yes, there are more Calissas. So that's why somebody's playing Raven, is because 5 other Retribution casters were taken before somebody picked Raven. That explains it.
Well, it doesn't explain why someone's playing Thyron, though.
Somebody's playing Thyron?
Yeah.
Yeah, one person's playing Thyron. Guys, you had a better choice. I don't know what it was.
So
Byron's okay, isn't he?
No.
Well, I do not
Jim,
think Thyron is terrible in and of himself. The problem is that Retribution has this massive list of great casters, and Thyron is not on it.
Yeah, and then like the fact that his big thing is Spell Piercer when half the faction has Blessed and the other half has magical weapons, so...
The only problem with you having the dick drawing, but in silence, is moments like this where he draws a circle and then pauses, and that pause is because he's waiting for John Barrowman to stop giggling. And then he draws another circle, and there's another pause, and then a giant cock falls off the sky. The delivery is magical.
yeah, the delivery is great. So
But at least they get to watch penises drawn underneath us while we talk.
Yes. So
Oh, that one's a little lopsided.
while we're talking about impressive Retribution lists,
Also, I love Raven. Raven's
Yes.
sweet. Raven, she's a no. I'm thinking of no. Raven's good. Snipe feet go. I'm a big Calissa fan,
I am a huge Calissa fan.
and I've always have been since the beginning.
So
Yeah.
I just want to bring attention to in the team Dank Legacy's 3-man wolf pack. Ethan Krause deserves some credit for being devoted to a theme because he has in his Retribution pairing Calissa with 3 Hydra, which is fine,
Hail Hydra.
and then Viros 1 with 6 Hydra.
if you call them Hydra, then they're going to think that they're Hydra.
Yeah, that's how it works. Hey, remember that time when Marvel wanted comic book shop employees to dress up as Nazis as part of a fucking ad campaign? Morons.
Yeah, that was a weird day for me.
You worked at a comic book shop?
Yeah. For a little while.
Like last year?
No.
Because I'm talking about like last year.
No, when Secret... Oh, yeah. No, when Secret War came out, there was something else. They wanted us to put like a Hydra symbol somewhere in the store.
Maybe.
Thank you, Legion has landed.
No nail. That I am disappointed in 10 people. I thought that Wisconsin was better than that. I thought we were smarter than the internet. I thought that people here understood that nail is fucking broke-tacular.
And
You
if
got a
you're
bunch of people from
player.
Iowa.
And
Well,
he's a game.
Within a game.
Yeah. I don't know. My primary issue with Nail right now is that he's not in Defenders of Ios, and as far as I can tell, Defenders of Ios is the best way to play Retribution.
That's another big thing. This has... I want to go through...
The themes are worth looking at. Yeah,
There are 6 non-theme lists in Retribution.
yeah. Well, I mean,
6 of 'em.
Yeah. Retribution gets that because Dawnguard Sentinels, which are one of the best infantry in the game, do not exist in any theme. So I'm pretty sure that Dawnguard.
There are 2 Kador lists that have no theme.
There's 4 Signar lists that have no theme, and that's the same numbers that are in Storm Division. So stop complaining about Stormlances on the internet.
Yeah, because they're fair and balanced.
They are fair and balanced.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
They're fair and balanced for the next 2 weeks.
3
Is
circles.
that going to drop before or after the championship?
With my luck, right on the day.
I wish I could just unplug you.
What did I do?
1 Protectorate list out of theme.
Also, Legion Has Landing asked if we had thought about pushing the list to phone so players can get table opponents info automatically. This is something we've talked about because it's there are the APIs to do it, to set it up so that we can get the pairing software to text people. But this is kind of the thing that I've talked with Rick Way, who is one of our locals here, who also does PG Swiss, the software that runs a lot of tournaments. But we haven't really had a lot of time to work on that. We'd like to get it working, but I don't think it's going to work. It's going to be in before the Wisconsin Team Championship.
Someone brought Sword Knights. What?
Sword Knights are great.
Sword Knights are okay in heavy metal.
Sword Knights. Pew pew. That's my Sword Knight impression.
What are they pew-pewing with?
They're swords.
They pew with their swords?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't say pew pew when you hit people with a sword?
No.
You should. It's a lot of fun. You just like bring it down like here on the collarbone and it cleaves halfway through him. Like that random surprise, why the fuck did you even do that death to Anya at the end of Buffy? And you go pew pew and then yank your sword out and run away.
I'm going to have a lot more
Yeah,
fun
spoilers
with,
from like a decade ago.
I haven't watched Buffy.
Okay,
I'm going to have a lot
Anya
more fun
dies
with
at
Dark
the end.
Souls now.
Man.
Dark Souls? I need to play more Bloodborne.
Yeah,
I've just been
Bloodborne's
busy
awesome.
playing other stuff, and now I own all of the Mega Man games, which was a mistake.
Everyone should play more Bloodborne.
I
Let me know when you play Bloodborne, because I'd like to play through it again with a friend.
we talked about this
I can play
earlier.
anytime.
Okay.
At least Dave and Jake and I talked about this earlier. I'm not sure how much I like BioShock.
Oh yeah, I've already been aware of
It's
that.
slower paced than Doom. That's his hot take.
No, it's also
You also was confused about how
I was really confused about
how Little Sisters worked.
how Little Sisters work. The same would appear to be the same. Big Daddy kept on respawning with the same little sister, following the same path over and over and over. And so I thought it was weird that I was able to able to save 3 little sisters. And I thought, and then I saw the Big Daddy again. I'm like, what the fuck? And it turns out the third time it wasn't actually a Big Daddy with a little sister. It's
Also, for the Signar players playing out of theme, 2 of them are playing Haley 3, it looks like. So it's really only 2 out of theme, because Haley 3 doesn't
Who are
really
the
have a
other
theme list.
two?
Oh my God,
What are the
this
other two
is-
playing?
What?
we got to talk about something else other than
No,
the
come on.
lists.
Why?
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 The fans
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Look at the fans.
We're not-
Our board is exploding.
Yes, exploding.
Someone post something, damn it.
Legion,
No.
explode more, please.
No, I mean we're talking about is we're just glancing at a list of things. It's not.
We've been discussing stuff. It's just the
discussing-
stuff that
Yeah.
bores you.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's interesting that 6 people in a faction aren't playing or 6 lists in a faction aren't in theme out of 20 lists. Like, that's almost a third of the lists. And the commentation right now is that, commentation isn't a word, but it is now, is that themes are mandatory. So it's interesting to see
Thanks for blowing my gas.
30% of lists in a faction be played out of theme.
Yeah, it's about 30% overall
Yeah.
as well.
Well, I mean, not only that, but like really, given like what people are saying about Signar, the fact that there's only 4 Storm Division lists out of a total of what, 16?
16 lists, yeah.
Yeah, like that's pretty big too. And there's 2 even that are taken out of theme entirely. You know, I guess you can't really count Haley 3 because she wants Trencher so much, but
Not even a Storm Division. The more important thing to point out is 5 units of Storm Lances in the 16 lists.
5 max. Are there any?
I think there's at least 1 min because I have a min in mine.
Okay. Yeah, there's Jake's men. And
5 Lance, 1 Min. So
Yeah.
6 Storm Lance units in
16
that's
16 lists.
on average 1 per player.
Yeah.
So.
No, not even. There's 8 players and 6
sorry.
units of Storm Lances.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
5 max
yes,
and a
yes,
min.
less than 1. Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, it is
because
what it is.
we've got Haley 3, and we've got half of the lists are in heavy metal.
Yeah, like
Are you banning people on our chat, Andy?
there's
For
19
10 minutes? Why'd you ban that guy?
I didn't need to do it for 10 minutes.
I hope he can still see. Can he see?
I don't know. We have to talk to Dan.
Was that Dan?
Yeah.
Oh, Dan Wasmer?
Yeah.
Oh, well, fuck him then. I thought it was just a random guy.
What did he say to get banned?
He said, "Shut up, Meg." I'm not going to be referred to as Meg. Maybe I'm not the Meg of this podcast.
Maybe he meant Meg Ryan. She's a national treasure.
I don't think he meant Meg Ryan.
Oh.
But
You banned Dan. Conflictchamber.com is the website. Websim7, you should know it because you're already using it to build lists when you don't have your phone handy to use
Worm.
I'm going to be
And if you're-
messaging Dan.
Actually, even when I have my
European,
phone, like if I'm just dicking around with lists, it's actually easier to do it in Conflict Chamber, not just to suck David's dick here. But like War Room, obviously, I
That
need
comes
to
later.
use for games. You wish, but yeah, I mean, it's a good website.
Dan did just text me about you banning him.
Can you at least respond and tell him that he meant it as a joke?
Yeah, I will.
So we don't have an actual civil war here.
I hope he's actually still listening.
Oh my lord, Lord Almighty!
oh, I could put it in there. I could.
If he
yeah,
can
come-
read it. Oh, the link. Yeah, Andy's putting the link into the chat.
But yeah, I've gotten a few bug reports from people using it on the phone, which I never really thought of for a while because it's like if I have my phone, I usually use War Room myself and just
Yeah.
complain
It's-
about War Room.
It still works better. Like, and honestly, the
Yeah.
ability to build a list during the CID cycle so that I could practice with Cole Grima or whatever, and actually still make a list that made sense. Like, that was really nice too. Especially like with big point reductions, like the Sea King going down to 36 points from 42. All of a sudden, making a list with trying to like get everything working right was kind of weird in War Room.
I want to see some meme with Madonna and that gargantuan, so it's like desperately seeking Susan. Hey, somebody asked me what I'd be doing in 3 years, and I said, I don't know. I don't have 20/20 vision.
And, you know, the other really kind of interesting thing on this, too, is that there's only one Nemo 3 player, and Nemo 3 was the hotness just 6 months ago for Signar players. So,
Was he?
yeah.
I mean, I knew like two locals were playing
Well,
it,
that-
and a lot of people were talking about it. Was this another Jarl thing?
This is another Jarl thing.
Okay.
So, like, he hyped them up quite a bit, and I saw a lot of players playing them. There was,
Nemo 3?
yeah. At the ATC, there was, like, it was, like, he was the most popular Signar caster with Haley 2. Yeah.
You put a shitload of focus out there, right? And heavy jacks were the only thing people were playing
yeah.
at the time, and so the ability to put out twice as much focus in addition to power up was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, also, like, he's got an armor-cracking feat, and he could still handle infantry pretty well, whatever limited amount of infantry there was. So he was able to just straight-up melt jacks.
Andy's legitimately just watching Attack of the Show on mute now instead of participating in the conversation. He's just watching old episodes of Attack of the Show on mute.
Is there any, do you know from data, is there any faction that was themeless, or that only played
Electro
themes?
Challenge.
Let's see. I can pull it up. Legion. There were 3 Legion players and 5 in Oracles of Annihilation, 1 in Children of the Dragon. Scorn, I think, was the only one that was majority out of theme because currently Winds of Death is the only thing that's going to be legal for it.
Yeah. But I mean, as much as people are saying this is theme machine, clearly it's like if a third of players are still choosing not to be
Yeah.
in theme.
Protectorate was one list out of theme out of 8. Convergence was entirely in theme.
Of course.
I can see
Grimkin is entirely in theme.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like that entire faction is built on those themes, though.
it's built for it. I think the first tournament that we're going to see, the first event that we're really going to see is War Machine Weekend. That's going to be really almost full themes because
Yeah.
it's supposed to be out at the end of September.
Yeah, Crix is also fully in theme. I mean, we're looking at. I mean, we're running at about 1/3 of the lists altogether are out of theme,
Yeah.
and I think by the time the September themes drop, that's going to be down to 1/8 or
Okay.
lower.
I mean, I think I'm fine with it being theme heavy. I know some people are upset about it, but with the changes they're making to make theme diversity more palatable, like letting you take a mercenary in certain ones.
Yeah.
Because my Kane 3 list.
Not official yet.
I can dream. My Kane 3 list really needs Iris 1 to click.
Yeah, the rumor is that's not going to be a universal rule for all themes. Just some themes are going to get that. But I mean, honestly, I don't
I
have a
still
problem
feel
with themes.
like minions and mercenaries should get access to that rule for themselves.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah.
But we'll see. They should. I don't know how long we want to talk about this. The podcast is going over an hour at this point, and we've got some good chit chat in there. But at the very least, we would encourage people to continue this conversation on our Facebook page when we post this video. So if you listen to this video from our Facebook, you can talk there, and also in the thread on Muse on Minis.
I could actually post it over from Crippled System.
CrippledSystem.com as well.
Yeah.
Anywhere you want to talk about it, we will listen and talk back at you. Because I'm curious to hear, because we're just kind of going through it live here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
David and I had a little access, a little advanced time to look at this. But I'd be interested to see, as other people dig deeper over the course of the next few days, what interesting things they see.
Yeah. And I also put in another plug for the Crippled System event management system, that if you are running an event, especially if you have pre-registration, please get a hold of me either on Facebook or from the link on Conflict Chamber, and I'll set up an event page for you.
Yeah, directly important. Good stuff.
Andy is just giggling too.
Just watching Attack of the Show. Who's
the show.
So number one, it just occurred to me, Kevin Pereira has done nothing since Attack of the Show.
No, he's had his own. He's done his own podcast and
has
his
he?
own show.
Okay, well that doesn't count. They're going to play Jenga while being electrocuted?
Yes,
Good times. Who is that? That's not Olivia Munn.
Candace something.
Okay, Candace Bailey?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
But
wow.
this is-
Did you tweet out Zappity Grumbles?
Huh? No, I didn't.
See,
So we have no Zappity
this is
Grumble.
weird because I don't watch television, so the only thing I know about Olivia Munn is that she's the person that sports radio in Wisconsin is really pissed off at.
Yeah, that's something
who
weird that I
cares?
walked into when I moved here as well.
Well, that's always the thing though too. Is you never mess with the, the stud, I guess, of your team. You want to make sure that everything's going great for them. You know, that same thing happened down in Texas with Tony Romo and his girlfriend.
Yeah, that actually happened in with the Detroit Tigers with Justin Verlander and Kate Upton. But no one could really blame Justin Verlander for that one.
Nobody can blame Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Clearly people did. I saw some weird amount of hatred towards her when I moved here.
Just because she's dating him?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing.
get it,
'Cause, I
like-
mean, because there are no good radio stations in Madison, which is like the only bad thing I can say about the city.
105.5 isn't that bad.
Well, we don't need to talk about local radio stations.
But so I end up listening to the ESPN radio because there's nothing else to do, and
There's also
I have an
pretty
old
good
car.
stingers.
Can
out
you
there.
close the Nightwolf band screen so we can read people's comments?
But so that was one of the other things when I moved up here is that the local people on sports radio just hate Olivia Munn, and it was just weird.
I don't get why. I honestly don't get why. Is it because they are sexistly drawing a correlation between how good sex with her is and how he performs in the game? The answer, by the way, is yes. That's
Yeah.
exactly why they're doing it, and that's just
Yeah.
fucking weird.
It's called like Samson Delilah syndrome, and it exists throughout history of all of a sudden people blaming a woman for a great man no longer being as good at his job. And it's idiotic and always
If
wrong.
only she'd blown him more or less, depending on which kind of person I am, he would be better. Or alternately, maybe he just had a bad day, and it's not her fault.
I mean, or his entire offensive line was hurt that year, and his shoulder was made out of crepe paper that year, and Jordy Nelson got hurt that year.
If she wasn't particularly strong in her performance in the film Magic Mike, do we blame him for not giving her a good dickin'? Like, is that how it works?
Hopefully. But it's not.
Somehow that only seems to go one way.
I wonder why.
What, that she didn't give him a good dickin'? Don't kink shame if that's what he's into.
Stop this.
Yeah, stop watching Attack of the Show and participate in the podcast.
I'm trying to get out of it.
It's Zapping Grumby time because Legion has let us how we draw people to play long games. Currently, his friends will only play games that are less than 2 hours.
To be perfectly honest, I mean that's how I feel the game should be. I mean, unless you're going to be playing, I don't know how to draw people into long games. Play me. That's how you draw people into long games.
I was going to say, is there a solution other than to get better friends?
Oh, I mean,
snap.
I mean, unfortunately, that's one of the things I'm grabbing onto is just some people enjoy those longer games.
Yeah. I don't know, Legion. You want to play Great Civilizations?
Mega
Civilizations.
I mean, we're kind of stuck.
He already
at
said he would, I
Pegasus.
think. I think it was one of them.
At Pegasus, we only really have maybe 4 good hours to play games. So if we can try to finish,
No, he's talking about board games.
Yeah.
is he actually talking about board games?
Yeah, he's talking about board games.
Oh, I thought he was talking
He
about
means
War
like how
Machine.
do you get people to want to play TI
Oh,
or Civ
I thought
or
just-
StarCraft?
I thought you were talking about playing War Machine, where I just stare at my models for a half hour every single turn.
What I end up doing is,
That's a
especially
long
with,
game.
actually we started this with Axis and Allies, is we would make it we'd do it over 2 sessions. Like we got the Axis and Allies 1940, and that game is huge and takes forever to play, and we played it over the course of a month. And over time, we'd start a new game the next month, and then, instead of doing it in 4 sessions, we did it in 2. We did it in 3. And we just, like eventually people got more and more used to it. So that's what I did to get people to play
So
long games.
Jake's solution is build up their endurance.
The two things I would say, one ties in with what David said, is you said your friends will only play games for less than 2 hours. That's fine. Go to the local game store. Like, put up a thing that says looking for group. Like, you can play games with people that aren't your current friends. Like, I'm Bored has a great board game night. Pegasus has theirs on Saturday as well. It tends to be more smaller casual stuff. But check out your game store. See if they have a board game night. You might find people there. When I was looking for people to play Dune, I actually made a Facebook page that was public that said, people in Madison who play Dune, post here. And I put up a game. And Dan and I played with 4 random people, and we got to play Dune. So look for different people. And number 2, I would say, is that theme matters a lot. Like, if your friends don't give a shit about World War II, they're not going to want to play a 6-hour game of Axis and Allies. But if your friends are all huge Game of Thrones fans, they might play a 4-hour game of the Game of Thrones board game. Just because they like Game of Thrones. So I would try either of those 2 things.
Yeah. And then, like, what Nate did to get me to play Dune was he just browbeat me into submission. So
Yeah, but that's you.
yeah, I mean, it's not hard, but like sometimes maybe just force them to, like,
That's what
armbar
she
them.
said.
Okay, so Dan's back. Maybe he can.
Jesus.
Maybe he can justify Denny too now.
But yeah, no, that'd be. I'd try to find themes that your group likes, because it doesn't feel like a slog as much to some people if they enjoy what it is.
How long did it take us to play Dune?
Oh, not long. It was maybe like, it was less than 4 hours.
Yeah, but that went by really fast, and it wasn't even like I didn't know anything about Dune besides them shouting Harkonnen because of Mystery Science Theater.
I will kill him.
But I mean, like, a lot of times it's if you have like people who really know the game, having people who are new to a long game, having them play with people who are really experienced with the game still goes smoothly helps out a lot too.
Also, it needs to be a social gathering and not,
Yeah.
just like, this is a job. We're doing a 6-hour shift of playing through the ages, and you will do this, and
Yeah.
which is why I think the theme's a big part, because it makes it feel like, hey, this is great.
The one thing I would have a problem with running like Axis and Allies over multiple days
Just won't
is
come back for the second half.
because you like I'm playing Japan or something like that where the U.S. is just pushing in my shit and I'm gonna be dead in like a turn. So the Tuesday, I'm not gonna show up, and then that ruins the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, when we did that for Axis and Allies specifically, it was just like, we're going to call this early, because it's clear what's going to happen, so we're not going to spend all that time.
Sure.
Yeah.
I do have a couple Zappity Grumbles.
Sure. There's another one in chat. Dan asked hot take on Twilight Imperium 4th edition. Every version of TI has been better than the previous version, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I might. That's actually probably what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to see if I can snag either a look at or a demo at Gen Con. Because this is the first Gen Con I've gone to in probably 10 years that I haven't gone there to do work. Like when I first started going, I worked for Impact Miniatures. I worked as I painted at their booth, did stuff there. I did Blood Bowl, ran tournaments for there, and then I just ran almost everything for PP from 2009 and on.
So this is going to be one of my questions that leads you guys to yell at me about being young and then throw things at me, but what is Twilight Imperium?
It's a board game.
Okay.
It's just a long board game. It's did you ever play Eclipse?
It's an infamously long board game.
Yeah, although I still consider it a mid-length game, but
No, I've never played Eclipse.
it's a Dune length. It's like a 6-hour space combat game.
Okay.
But the thing is that it's not it looks like a war game because you build all kinds of ships and troops and they're all going to fight and there's combat rules. And if you ever fight, you lost because it is a Cold War game. You're supposed to build up borders and glare at each other and do politics.
Okay.
And then last turn attack and hopefully win.
Yeah,
No,
they're
so
like
my-
a couple of factions that don't just instantly lose if they get into an actual fight.
Okay.
The problem is if you play with someone who just YOLOs and randomly attacks because they think they're having fun, you're not having fun. You're ruining the game for yourself and the person next to you, and it's going to be 6 hours of both of you losing. And then you're going to complain about how long the game is and how you never had a chance and it was your own fucking fault.
YOLO.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued with it. That's one of the games I'm looking forward to at Gen Con.
It's not going to be there, I don't think. Well, they might have demos and stuff.
That's what I'm
It's going
saying.
to be available
They'll
quarter 4.
probably
yeah.
have a demo for it.
They have a pretty complete list of the changes on their website between
I
3rd and
haven't.
4th edition.
It's been years since I played third.
Yeah.
So
But I'm excited. Like I said, I have a friend who is a massive, massive fan of the Twilight Imperium games. Always has been. You know, we would get together and play it every couple weeks or whatever. And he still owns his copy of TI2, and he lists it as one of his favorite games that he will never play again because there's no reason to play 2 because 3's out. I wonder if he'll do the same thing with his copy of 3 now and just museum it.
Yeah. All right, Zappity.
And I think this will be quick. Have any of us ever played Fireteam Zero?
I haven't.
So we
No.
we can give no info to Legion has landed about what we think of Fireteam Zero.
I
That's
don't.
it.
I don't even know what it is or what's it about.
I assume it's a game.
Oh, I think it's a fireman thing.
Oh wow.
No, that's Flashpoint, right?
Yeah, that's one.
I mean, Fireteam Zero could also be about a team of fire people.
Like people made out of
People-
fire,
yeah,
like
yeah.
Johnny Torch,
Yes.
or that guy from.
The sad thing is, I knew exactly what he was talking about too. Yeah, Johnny Torch.
Johnny Torch.
Fireteam Zero
No, that's
board
meant
game.
for Jake to say. Come on, get to the script.
Yeah, but Jake thought it was true.
No,
Jake
no,
rolled
I
with it.
didn't.
Yeah.
It's Johnny Storm.
No, it's Johnny Torch, the human storm.
What was that? Was that you said though too before?
Oh man, that'd be like a great parody.
Where you said there was like it's like so and such.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Fireteam Zero is a fast and furious cooperative board game with brutal squad tactics versus a relentless onslaught of horrifying foes.
Nope, never played it.
So it's a real time, so it's like one of those like
Oh man, like rolling a billion dice all at once and like making the engines work.
no. And that was like so, like some of the games I got. I got this other game where it's one of those games where you're laying down cards and the first person to pick up the cards or for a match or something like that wins the cards. I hate those games. I don't like real time games like that.
Apparently, a lot of miniatures and cards in it.
The last time you said to me, I don't like real-time games, we played a real-time game and you had a lot of fun with it.
No, I don't remember. The
So we were
game.
testing the light cycle game. You were refusing to test the real-time
Oh,
version.
yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
I hate real-time games. Let's just test the turn-based one. I'm like, yeah, but we're play testing. We should try the live one. You're like, this is a lot of fun.
That one I like.
That's my Andy voice.
Because
Nate, what was that? It was a real-time game. You mean Jackie and Keith were playing it at his house? What was that one?
Damage report.
Damage Report. That game was a lot of fun.
it's on the phones, isn't it? Or
No,
that's-
that's Space Team.
Okay.
Damage report is you move around on a ship like repairing stuff and trying to get like the hyperdrive to work and things like that.
Sure.
But your pawn you move your pawn or whatever, and then when you take an action, you flip a egg timer, and you can't take another action until the egg timer runs out. And as you get like wounded or as the oxygen supply goes down, you can get more or less time that the egg timer has to be, and so there's forced downtime. So some people hate the game because they don't like forced downtime in a game, but it's some strategy and it gives you time to think. Like you're not doing nothing; you should be planning during that time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Prevents quarterbacking.
Yeah.
The other thing I really liked about that downtime is that it does create a lot of tension in it. You know, which makes this like stressful situation kind of fun. Because otherwise, it's just flip as fast as you can.
All right. So what is an underused IP that you think would be good to use for a reskinning of a game? I would say Undercity. Not Undercity. Underhive. Necromunda. You could take Shadow War that they have that just released and then just put Necromunda over it.
Big spoil. Well, Shadow War. What IP?
Shadow War is actually Games Workshop's version of Necromunda that they were making, and then they just announced that they were putting Necromunda out.
So what's going to happen to Shadow
So
War?
you want
That's gonna be around still.
So
you
there's
want
going
Games Workshop to take one of their IPs and put it over a different IP of theirs?
No, I was
they announced
trying to draw
Necro-
some like weird conclusion.
Yeah, they announced
putting it together.
Necromunda, so then now they're going to have Necromunda-ish and Necromunda as separate products?
Yeah, Shadow War is basically just like a little miniature version of 40K. So you're just taking a squad of whatever 40K things.
Yeah, but it's heavily based off the old Necromunda rules.
Correct. And then
Okay.
they're actually going to release Necromunda now.
Okay, that's weird.
I actually think
I think there's more of a demand for
Sorry.
it is
Yeah.
really the main. And it has progression.
Yeah.
pretty cool IP to just. I don't know if this is necessarily reskinning, but if they did a RPG version of Metroid, if they did an RPG version of Metroid, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, the universe is pretty fleshed out and built. You can be a team of bounty
Only has
hunters or
one
whatever.
character that can save the universe, though.
I mean, you don't have to be saving the universe in an RPG. You can just be like going to a planet to like kick some ass.
One-person RPG would not be fun.
It doesn't need to be one person. Like
unless you get a boyfriend and that boyfriend tells you what to do.
Oh Jesus, dude!
What? He wants a Metroid. He wants a Metroid RPG.
Yeah, like just in that.
Oh yeah. No, you're right. Absolutely.
One person.
So all of your characters start out as like level 50, like impossible to kill
Correct.
super monsters.
Yep.
But so half the people, that'd actually be super cool. Never mind, I'm going with this. So half the players get to be super powerful, amazing, unkillable god monsters. Like you're level 70, just a dragon can't hurt you. And the other half of the players play the men that they have crushes on, and they get to tell them which powers they're allowed to use at any given point in time.
Correct.
What Metroid game are you guys talking about?
Other M.
I've never played that one.
Did you ever play Fusion?
I played like the
With the SAX and everything like that. Anyway,
I don't think so.
So Metroid talks about how she had this old boss named Adam,
Yeah.
who would tell her like whatever. It was like this when she was younger. He was her boss, and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she learned a lot from him, and he was a good mentor. She was his Obi-Wan to her Anakin. And so Metroid Other M. Metroid Other M is a flashback. Well, yeah, it's before Metroid got evil and he got put in that robot body and got the gun arm.
Yeah.
So Metroid Other M is a flashback to that time with Adam, and it turns out that like all he does is just tell her what to do, and it's terrible, and like it's the most misogynistic thing ever.
Oh, that's
because you know how in most Metroid games, Metroid loses all the gear at the beginning,
Yeah.
and so he has to find all the stuff.
Yes.
So in Other M, they didn't bother to have him lose all of his gear. He starts fully functional. Varia suit, homing missiles, super beams, everything. Ice beam.
Whole 9 yards?
But got everything. Whole 9 yards. But Adam's just like, hey, don't use super missiles. And Metroid's like, oh, I'm so hot for you, Adam. I'll listen to what you say because I'm not a strong, independent woman whatsoever. And so it includes Metroid will literally burn to death in lava because Adam tells him not to use the Varia suit powers. That's their justification for not having your powers yet, is that a man tells you what to do, and you, being a strong, independent woman, obey him implicitly, even if it kills you.
Jesus, that's fucked up.
It's super fucked up. People were mad.
I imagine. No, because like I loved Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 2, and then I went back and played like Super Metroid, and that universe always just seemed really cool. So it'd be cool to have like an RPG or something you could explore it more.
I like that Websum7's autocorrect said Dan is her name, not Netflix. So instead of Samus and Metroid, it's Dan and Netflix. Netflix 2, starring Dan. Battling all the Netflixes on Zebus.
On Zebra, you mean?
Yeah, on Zebra. On Planet Zebra, Dan has to battle the Netflixes.
Oh, dude.
Oh.
But yeah, seriously, Other M is the most offensive thing ever. Because I am not exaggerating.
Is it really that bad?
Yeah.
That is literally the
that brought you Cooking Mama. I mean,
Yeah.
realize.
But at least
Why did Nintendo give them the IP for that?
Well, yeah.
We're working on that knowledge now? Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, who knows?
The guy who wrote it apparently in his old age became a terrible misogynist, and he decided that women don't get to have agency, and he regretted having Samus turn out to be a woman at the end and challenging all of your perceptions, and why did you assume that this powerful bounty hunter was a man? What does that say about you, person? And instead it's just, women do what men tell them to because that's what good women should do. Is the message of Metroid Other M the worst thing that's ever happened to video games?
I can think.
Okay.
There's some words.
E.T. for the Atari is better than Other M.
What about
Not
Custer's
graphically.
Revenge?
Sure, fine.
Okay.
The what?
Custer's Revenge.
I mean,
Hey,
just as
at least he
it's like-
eventually gets murdered for what he's doing. Because there's no winning that game. You just do it as long as you can until you get shot through the fucking head with an arrow, which is what you deserve, you rapist. But yeah, the fact that that game is just... But that's like the 70s. They're like, it's a new technology. Let's just
Early
throw
80s.
porn onto it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess early 80s. But it's new technology. They throw porn, and porn's always going to be fucked up depending on what you're looking at. But yeah, still.
Man, that brought me down.
It's okay.
Well, no, they've done really well with the Metroid IP overall. There's only
not
really
Other M.
3 games that are really, really bad for there. Other M, there's
Pinball?
There's no Pinball is amazing.
Yeah, I know. Other M, and what else?
There's Prime Hunters or something like that.
That
Prime
was a 3DS game, wasn't it?
I don't
Federation
remember that.
Force or something like that. It's
Yeah.
just
I don't even
not-
know those ones.
Not very good at all.
There was one that came out that was like a 3DS game or something that you could play with your friends, and everyone was a different bounty hunter. And
Those
that
hunters.
That game sucked.
Yeah.
But at least it wasn't just like sucking is different than being horrifically offensive.
Yeah. Other M is pretty offensive. I mean, all the primes are good. I mean, they just announced at E3 that there's going to be a Prime 4 that's coming out, and there's also there's a new reskinned version of Metroid 2 that came out for
because that game gets overlooked.
Yeah.
And Metroid 2 is actually a really good game.
And now we know why that.
But it's a classic Game Boy game, so nobody cares.
Yeah, now we know why Nintendo shut down the fan-made version of
yeah.
it is because they were in the process of working on their own version of it.
Which is great.
I have that fan-made version.
I didn't download it in time.
I got it.
Oh, man. That's good because
really good.
I love 2D Metroidvania games, the side-scrolling games, and everybody fucking loves them. Everybody on the planet loves Symphony of the Night.
Yes.
Everybody likes Super Metroid. These games are just universally applauded, and yet we don't get too many side-scrolling Metroidvania-style games anymore.
Yeah,
we don't get any 2D side-scrollers at all.
This was one of the things that was really
platformers,
disappointed in the movement to the 3D consoles was that we really lost a lot of the really good 2D games.
They have one, but I mean it's sitting out there. Shadow Complex is very similar to that Metroidvania style.
You get indie stuff like the Salt and not Salt and Iron, Salt and
Sundered?
No, fucking A. I'll remember it later. But like the one I mentioned before, Dead Cells and things like that. But
Salt and Sanctuary?
Salt and Sanctuary, yeah. But you get all these small indie games, but you don't get big name titles putting out beautiful side-scroller things.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're too busy making another first-person shooter.
Sunder just came out though, and that's a hand-drawn side-scrolling one.
Yeah. That one was Kickstarter though, right?
Axiom Verge. That's
but again, a little indie thing.
That's an indie one too. Zeo Drifter is also an indie one too.
Strider was cool.
The remake of Strider was very good. Yeah. Both Bionic Commando Rearms are good.
Yeah.
I mean that's.
Well, I mean, if you like jumping
Both.
in your games,
Hey, it made it significantly more difficult to try to do swinging in Bionic Commando 2.
yeah, you turn that jump button off and you play that game like a man.
You could still do it without doing it. You could disable the jump button.
The fact that they let you disable the jump button
is
makes me happy.
yeah, but you have to beat it.
I can just rip the button out of my
true
controller
as well.
and play without it.
All right. So yeah, I don't know. I think Sam & Max would make a great board game. We need to have another Sam & Max board game of some
We're
sort.
still on that question. I mean, obviously there is an old classic board game, but they did the reverse. They took they re-themed the board game instead of taking this theme and putting on a different board game. But the Dune IP is amazing. There's so much cool shit in Dune.
Yeah.
The RTSs were great. Like, playing basically StarCraft, but every once in a while a sandworm would show up and murder your whole fucking army.
I mean,
That's amazing!
I mean, the Dune RTS was what really was. It was the first one.
Yeah. So good. But yeah, I love the Dune. I don't think there's enough Dune stuff out there. There's one insane movie
That was amazing.
that's terrible. There's one miniseries that, God bless it, tries its best. And then there's an old out-of-print board game that got re-themed into the most generic thing possible. And there should be more.
Cats.
Huh?
Space Cats.
Space Cats?
Yeah, Space Cats. All right, you're talking about the Twilight Imperium.
Yeah.
Space Cats.
The Ministry of Hakan and whatnot. Yeah. The Dune board game was re-themed with all the races from Twilight Imperium, actually. As Rex, Imperium Rex, which is good, but it's not as good as Dune because they fucked up something.
You've never heard of Dune until listening to Crippled System.
Was that today?
I wouldn't. Do you, wait. Okay, I have to ask here. Do you mean
Board
Dune
game or the entire everything
Yes.
movie, book, and all?
Yes, the game or the
Entire.
classic work, one of the classic works of the 20th century
flustered.
fiction.
Yeah. Or even here in the movie. Like, the movie's insane. Either way,
amazing.
my personal recommendation to Legion Has Landed is to read the first Dune novel. And
Yes.
if you're
Today?
feeling like flipping a coin and seeing insanity that you either love or despise, go ahead and watch David Lynch's Dune.
Yeah, but read the book, and yes today, because if you spend 20 minutes reading it, you will probably get done sometime at 4 o'clock in the morning and wonder what the hell happened.
Much like
amazing book.
Much like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, it's a surprisingly quick read. So that's one of the other reasons I'm okay with recommending it to people. Is like when you're recommending like a huge if I'm a big fan of War and Peace, you should read War and Peace. Like you're committing somebody to a month of reading a million pages. But
the first time I read
Hitchhiker's
Dune,
Guide and the first Dune, they are quick reads.
Yeah, the first Dune I read it in one day because I sat down in a chair that afternoon and finished sometime after midnight, and I just literally did not move. It was that good.
I've read the first 5 pages. They're quite good, and then I've been a schmuck. I need to finish it. It's really good.
We haven't said this in a while, but Quimby, you're young.
I know.
Zappity.
I had Metroid RPG.
Oh, that's right.
Dave
Fine,
didn't
fuck
have
it.
one.
Damn it, Other M. Fucking Other M. Fuck you, Jake, for bringing up Metroid Other M.
I did
Zappity.
Okay, I'm sorry. Zappity. Grumble!
Thank you.
Jesus.
All right. Any advice for those who want to start running events in their community? Any tips or tricks that are useful? Any pitfalls to avoid?
Convince someone else to do it.
No.
Use Conflict Chamber for list submission.
Yeah. One major pitfall I would avoid is trying to make the event or trying to make the game what you envision the game being. In other words, if you're going to run a steamroller as it is, because that's what players are generally going to expect at your event. They're not going to want to come and play a steamroller that suddenly you decide that inch-high hills are obstacles.
They're not gonna want random dumb shit like you spin a wheel and fuck with what caster they bring. Like nobody likes those kinds of events. So avoid doing things like that and just run standard steamrollers is what Andy's saying.
Yeah.
But that's not out of Who's the Boss. The thing is, I'm not advertising a steamroller event as a Who's the Boss event, and then just suddenly surprise, butt sex caster.
People don't show up to some town in northern Illinois and surprise they're running old League scenarios instead of the steamroller scenarios, for example. And I totally made that one up. I swear.
Yeah,
I did not make that up. It was terrible.
yeah. Old steamroller, not steamroller. It was old
the old league scenarios.
Yeah.
At least they weren't doing any of the ones from the nautical themed league.
Correct.
That had
Ships.
Oh my god.
The lighthouse board.
The lighthouse board and the shipboard were both literally unwinnable if you were player 2, and they let the person who was lower in the league rankings choose whether to be player 1 or 2, so it was just blatant rubber banding for the league.
Yeesh.
But to follow on what Andy said, I mean, just especially if you're starting, do it very vanilla. I mean, we have the packet, the packet for the steamroller rules that's gone through a number of revisions and a lot of testing. Use that. Ask other people for help. I'm biased, but I'd say hit me up for Conflict Chamber. I will handle list submission for you. Go look up PG Swiss is the software that actually does the pairings, the pairings and such.
Depending on your meta, another easy thing to encourage people to come in is mess with the point value. Because if you've got a lot of new players, they might be more likely to come to like a 50 or something versus 75.
Yeah, it's one thing. Yeah, gauge and know your audience in a sense.
Yeah.
Know if you have a bunch of new players to make it short points or something like that.
And yeah, I mean, we're slowly developing a pretty robust suite of tools for running events between between Conflict Chamber and PG Swiss, which has been around longer and has served more tournaments than my stuff.
When their powers combine, they are Steamroller Planet. You're too young to know Captain Planet either. Did you at least see the thing with Don Cheadle as Captain Planet, just like murdering everyone?
I didn't get it.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm a 90s kid.
Other than try to
Captain
set the
Planet was
schedule.
90s?
I mean, I was like literally an infant. I don't remember any of that.
You're not a 90s kid.
Fair.
I don't know. You're fucking Jake.
I would also say that keeping a nice tight schedule. Like there's Chicago that has like an event the first or second Saturday of every month, and they keep it consistent. That is
Zappity.
Grumble.
You don't say Zappity when I say Zappity. That's not how. The fuck is this?
It's a piece of paper.
Yeah, but why is it crenellated?
Is that what that's called?
Well, I don't know if crenellated is a word, but the thing on top of castles are crenellations.
Yes.
So I assume crenellated is how you describe something with crenellations.
Crenellated is a legitimate word in the English language.
If it wasn't a legitimate word, it was definitely a cromulent word,
Yes.
and I would stand behind that.
Well, guys, you just learned a whole bunch of words.
Well, cromulent, ironically enough, I don't think is legitimate, but it is cromulent, so it describes itself.
I think cromulent's in the dictionary
Oh man,
now.
that ruins the magic of cromulent. Cromulent needs to not be in the dictionary so that it itself is cromulent. Cromulent is a word that isn't a real word, but is obvious enough what it means to serve its purpose.
I figured as much. I used context tools. Figured it all out on my own.
And that's the power of cromulent words, is that they don't need to be real words because people can use context tools to figure out what they mean.
Zappity.
They are ersatz words.
We're down to recommendations.
Ersatz.
We need to be done here so we can watch some Game of Thrones.
I recommend Legion has landed.
Okay, Wiktionary defines cromulent, Merriam-Webster doesn't, so maybe it is actually,
Yes!
maybe it is actually properly cromulent still.
Fucking magical.
Recommendations. I will recommend Mellow Yellow Zero Citrus Twist again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will throw in a side thing in the chat. It's not really Zappity Grumble, but Websum7 asked who entered Dresden's sub-basement between the ending of White Knight and the beginning of Turncoat. I don't remember any such thing happening, so I can't help. I know at the ending of White Knight, he goes down and digs up the last Shael coin, so maybe it's him, unless I don't remember anything after the book ends, so I can't help you. Anyway, my apologies. I just didn't want him to be left out in the...
Well, I actually, in that time, I will amend my recommendation. Read Dune while drinking Mellow Yellow Zero Citrus Twist.
I'd recommend a really great anime that Marshall Wentworth showed me called The Devil is a Part-Timer. It is about basically the bad guy of a JRPG gets kicked out of his own universe and ends up in Tokyo, powerless and poor, and ends up getting a job at McDonald's.
So it's the anime version of Last Action Hero.
Wouldn't know. But
No,
maybe.
the villain doesn't. The villain doesn't get poor at all in Last Action Hero.
Yeah, no, but he becomes basically just a powerless, normal guy, and so he gets a job working at a McDonald's, and it's kind of his day-to-day life, and he still thinks he's a demon lord. It's pretty funny. Check it out.
I'm going to recommend it's a web comic, although the first chunk of it got picked up and made into a physical comic, but I wouldn't bother buying the graphic novel because it's inexplicably small and difficult to read, and it stops right when shit starts to actually make more sense, so it's at a poor time to not have a second chapter. But the web comic is free, so you can read the whole thing, and then you can support on Patreon if you want to give money instead of giving money to the publisher. But Kill 6 Billion Demons, which is like if Dante's Inferno met Metalocalypse, is how one of the reviews described it. Because it has shit like that guy in it, who is a fallen angel riding a motorcycle made out of skeletons.
That's pretty kick-ass.
It is a college co-ed. Her boyfriend is abducted, and she is basically made into like the chosen one, and so she has to go battle demons on 777,777 different dimensions. And it's got all kinds of religious imagery in it, but not just biblical. It has all kinds of stuff, but it's cool to see like they have straight up angels, but instead of being like seraphim with the wings and stuff, they're like the lion head in the middle of a wheel and the pillar of fire with 50 eyes on it, like the actual descriptions of them from the Bible.
Yeah.
And huge fight scenes. It is a brutal story, but it's metal as fuck. It is like a 90s heavy metal album cover turned into a webcomic. And it's beautiful too.
Yeah, no, it looks great from what you showed me.
Very cool.
Oh, those guys.
But I would go ahead and recommend. I don't know. I think you should go and try to go to some kind of store, go look on Amazon, go look for Ice Pirates. Download it, watch it. It is a glorious romp through 80s sci-fi shenanigans.
And then taunt your young friends for not having seen it.
Yeah. I don't expect Jake to has ever seen Ice Pirates. I mean, I'll watch it.
I mean, that's
again.
an obscure one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one thing for him to have like, oh, I've never seen insert movie everybody's seen here.
Yeah.
The only one I think I've ever actually gotten like grief from everybody at Peg about was never having seen Night Court. People freaked out about that one.
Yeah.
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 Did we recommend Valerian? That movie's amazing. We should tell people to watch Valerian, by the way.
Hey, don't watch
the podcast off before you can even.
You know what?
respond.
Go watch Valerian because any amount of money you can give it still makes it a flop.
Poor Dark Tower. It's not that bad.
Have you seen it?
Yeah. Saw it
I
opening
don't.
night.
I haven't seen it yet, but I don't believe that it deserves. I think it's similar. I think it's probably in the same vein as Last Action Hero. It probably doesn't deserve the critics' scorn.
I did like Last Action Hero.
Everybody likes Last Action Hero.
Except
It's
the
one of those
critics,
movies that
apparently.
people defend. Dude, if you look at when it came out, it was fucked. Like it came out in a tough year. But no, it's a good movie. I think it's one of those movies everybody defends, but we all actually like it.
From my understanding, I've never seen Last Action Hero. From what I understand, it came out critically panned, commercially flopped, and then has like gotten a second life as like an amazing movie.
I know it commercially flopped. I wonder if it actually got critically panned.
Oh, it did.
Did it?
Yeah, it's low on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Rotten Tomatoes is
at that
meaningless.
I'm just talking about that. At that time, it was critically panned as not being good.
I mean, Rotten Tomatoes is meaningless. They gave Face Off like a 92 or 94% or whatever it is
That movie's terrible.
when it should be 100 greatest movie ever made.
It should be like a 2 because it's garbage.
That movie's amazing.
Face Off's fucking terrible. It's John Woo's worst film, and I am including Mission Impossible 2.
Mission Impossible 2 is way worse than than Face Off.
Face Off ends with the heroes kidnapping a child, stripping him of his identity, and forcing him into their freakish cult.
The cold open is the murder of a child, so it stays insane throughout, guys.
So it's okay that they take another child and strip his identity away and force him to be that murdered child for the rest of his life. And they're the heroes.
Yes, they are. Do they end up calling him Michael? I can't remember.
They don't in the film, but I guarantee 4 seconds after the credits rolled, that kid was already being called Michael. And he'd be like, but my name is... Shut up, your name's Michael! And then they hit him with a coat hanger.
So here's I got the movies that were released during the summer of that.
Yeah, this shit's gonna be rough.
Well, we can go back to April. So there's Cop and a Half there. So that was
Yeah, that's
amazing.
not too
Which
bad.
what's Cop and a Half?
It's like,
It's bad.
There was a while where every movie that came out was legally required to be about a cop and insert noun here.
Oh, like K911.
Or Turner and Hooch, or
Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Yeah, so that's the mom. You got a gnome named Norm, which has Anthony Michael Hall with a gnome as a sidekick. You have Theodore Rex with Whoopi Goldberg and a talking Tyrannosaurus Rex as her sidekick. Yeah.
So is it like a plaster lawn gnome?
No, it's like a shitty rip-off Jim Henson gnome.
This is what I don't understand is that people
I've
said that
seen
people said
this.
that the drug of choice in the 80s was cocaine, and that really sounds a lot more like LSD.
The problem with a gnome named Norm is that Anthony Michael Hall already looks like a crappy knockoff Jim Henson gnome, so having him next to another one was really confusing.
This is just so weird. This summer here is just so weird. So we have May 28th. Cliffhanger came out.
Game of Thrones starts in 58 minutes, Dan. It did not start 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Get your time zones right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So Last Action Hero Cliffhanger came out.
Sure.
That was a big Stallone flick. At the same time as Cliffhanger, actually Super Mario Brothers was released.
Wow.
Connection to Face Off, they use the same boots.
Yeah. And then June 11th was Jurassic Park.
I'm not familiar with that one. Was that a...
It was like some dinosaur thing, some
Okay,
genetic experiment.
So that
gone
was
wrong.
another flop, I assume,
That was
right?
another
Because
flop.
that doesn't seem like a very big
Yeah.
one.
And then the week after that was Last Action Hero. The
Yeah.
week after Jurassic Park hit the world, Last Action Hero came out. So not only was it following up Terminator 2, which is, that's Arnold's last movie, it was also going against the juggernaut of Jurassic Park.
What about, wasn't True Lies after Terminator 2?
No.
Oh.
No, True Lies is much later than that.
Yeah.
Much later than that. And then later in the summer, then you have The Son-in-Law.
Firm.
Weekend at Bernie's 2.
Oh, boy. Free Willy.
Yeah. Actually, Weekend at Bernie's 2 is amazing as well. That's a great film. Weekend at Bernie's is a great film. Have you seen Weekend at Bernie's at least?
Are you familiar with the concept of Weekend
I
at
am
Bernie's?
I am familiar with the concept for Weekend.
What's the concept of Weekend at Bernie's?
It's a dead corpse.
No.
That's a dead corpse.
A dead
Thanks.
corpse.
As opposed to a live corpse.
Yep.
I mean, George
that's
Romero
Nation,
made that
yeah.
kind of movies, not
Yeah,
fun
take that.
comedies.
George Romero's Weekend at Bernie's is a very different film.
I'd watch that.
No, man, it depends. George Romero made like 3 good movies and then a bunch of shit.
He was drinking a bottle of vodka a day
Like
when he was making
Tom and Jerry, the movie?
Land of the Dead, and yeah, I don't remember. Animated. It's an animated one. Fucking the one where they go on an island and there's a Hatfield and McCoy thing. Oh, Diary of the Dead was so fucking bad too. It's found footage one is one of the worst things I've ever watched with my wife. But the one that was Hatfields and McCoys on an island and there were zombies also, and they have a whole plot thing where one of the guys is trying to teach the zombies to eat horses, because if they eat horses, then they won't eat people anymore. And so there is no flaw in this logic, Dave. I'm sure.
There's so much flaws in that line.
So like the movie, then like the zombies are eating horses, and they're like, oh look, he was right, hooray, the zombies eat horses now. It's like, yeah, I eat chicken. It doesn't mean cows are safe around me. Like I'll eat all those fucking animals. All you've done is teach zombies to eat more things. What?
I'm just going over this year, and this apparently was a good year because I
Was it
remember all
92?
these of being good.
93.
93. So I mean, then you had Boxing Helena, which is actually a really good film.
Calendar Girls, I saw that in the theater.
True Romance.
Yeah.
True Romance is that year. Dazed and Confused was that year as well.
Jesus.
Warlock the Armageddon was that year.
The Good Son.
Yeah, The Good Son.
The remake of The Bad Seed.
Cool Runnings.
oh, Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
I know that one.
The Nightmare Before Christmas was that year.
Yeah, it also suffered.
Because of Jurassic Park. Yeah.
Probably. That thing was probably still number 1 at the box office by then.
Carlito's Way. Ernest Rides Again.
Classic.
I don't recall Ernest Rides
Mrs.
Again.
Doubtfire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to defend Ernest.
Are you now?
Yes, I am.
Which one?
Many of them. Ernest Saves Christmas. Ernest Scared. I fucking love Ernest Scared Stupid.
I
love Ernest Scared Stupid. I will quote that movie like a motherfucker. Ernest goes to camp. Ernest goes to jail.
Ernest Goes to Jail is the
First
one I enjoy the
one
most.
is
When he gets electropowered.
Yeah, he was an Electro Man.
the first Ernest I legitimately cried at when he was like standing in the rain talking about how it was rain, not tears. That made me sad as a kid.
Oh, hey, you never, you know what you do? You don't do in front of a badger. Abadi, abadi, abadi.
Ernest Scared Stupid. The troll is like can be killed with milk. Okay, milk can kill the troll, but the L is like erased from the book because it's an old book. So it's M-I spank K space K. Well, I did space and blank and it became spank. M-I something K. And so Ernest, of course, assumes it's referring to Miak, an obscure Norwegian beverage or whatever. So he gets like a gallon of Miak and he's like, I got this, I'm going to beat you. The troll's like, Miak? And Ernest goes, I bet you didn't think I could get it out of season, did ya? And that's fucking hilarious to me.
That's actually pretty funny.
Oh my God. Like, when Jim Varney died, there was a full page like editorial in the Capital Times here in Madison talking about Jim Varney and mentioning, he's not just Ernest. This guy actually did a lot of stuff. He was great in Toy Story. He actually did some drama stuff. Jim Varney was a talented actor. And it's easy for us to see when you get a talented actor and they have one character and you identify them, when you see Alec Guinness, you think Obi-Wan Kenobi. And the guy did hundreds of films in his Oscar-winning life. But you see Obi-Wan Kenobi when you look at Alec Guinness, right?
Yeah.
So this thing had a full page talking about how Jim Varney is more than Ernest, goddammit. You should respect it. And you could tell that the person writing this really fucking cared.
Yeah.
And then they just put a big picture of him as Ernest in the middle of the article. It's just like, you assholes!
Grumpy Old Men.
Yeah.
That was on that same year. Tombstone was that same year, too. Tombstone and Grumpy Old Men shared the same date.
Tombstone also bombed, I believe. Nobody saw that fucker when it came out.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah,
I mean,
Tombstone
Wyatt
Nightmare
Earp
Before Christmas.
he was so much better.
93 was a year of undeserved bombs. Tombstone, Nightmare Before Christmas, Last Action Hero. Fuck you, 1993's America. Watch better movies.
We all know who the better...
Better what?
This is exciting. I'm quivering in anticipation.
cliffhanger.
He's trying to remember the name of the main character from Tombstone, and he can't because he's trying to troll by saying that Mr. Waterworld was the better of that guy.
No!
I can't remember the name of the guy.
No!
Oh no, you're going with the other one, the I'm your
going-
Huckleberry guy,
Yeah.
whose name I also won't tell you.
Yeah, no. Dennis Quaid is a much better Doc Holliday
Hey, we got there.
than Val Kilmer.
Also, no.
Hey, Dennis Quaid is still not fat, though.
Isn't Dennis Quaid crazy, or is that the other one?
That's Randy.
It's
Randy Quaid, who relates to sex tape of him having sex with his wife while they were both wearing Randy Quaid masks. He is literally,
Oh God!
he is literally insane. Something went wrong with Randy Quaid. He lives in a motel and rants about chemtrails on the internet.
Okay.
Yep. Zappity.
But he was great in Quick Change.
All right, we're going to call it.
This is
stop
upsetting.
here.
You've never seen Quick Change either, I'm sure.
No, I know Randy Quaid.
Nude women, clowns welcome.
All right.
I know Randy Quaid from Independence Day, and that is it.
Quick Change. Quick Change is not Bruce Campbell. Bill Murray's best movie. Quick Change.
Jesus, stand on that one.
Jesus, there's a lot of trolling going on here. All right, we're going to call this quits. Thanks, guys, for watching. Thank you all, the patrons.
Bye. Valerian sucks.